Yo, what is up? Welcome once again to another episode of I'm Will Bryant. I'm your host. Guess who? Big surprise. I'm Will Bryant. Was that awkward? Was that a weird intro? Should I start it over? No, too late. It's too late. Too late. No turning back now. Keep going. Keep going. Just push through. It's like when you forget your keys and you're out the door. You know the amount of times I forget something while I walk out and my girl's like, oh, turn around. You're right there. Shut up. You don't understand, okay? You don't get it. That's a long journey to turn around. Men don't like doing that. They don't like turning back to grab something once they've already walked through the door. And me here right now talking to you, that's me walking through the proverbial door. There ain't no turning back now, okay? It's too late. So come with me on this journey where we forget something and stubbornly don't go back for it. Me, this intro probably could have been so much better. Am I gonna fix it? No. Why? Because I'm me. I'm a stupid idiot that does things my own stubborn way. You know why? Because I'm Will Bryant and it's my damn show. And if my damn show wants to just be an extension of my stubborn, idiotic ways of living life, then so be it. I'm not even 2 minutes in and I'm already off the rails, baby. We're off the rails and that's how I'm going to keep it. Give me a minute. Let me enjoy this coffee and I'm going to get right back to you. All right. Speaking of getting right back to things, I got the privilege to get back to something that I love doing with this show. Because, you know, you guys have seen lately, it's been me, myself, and I've been on that role of just churning out episodes of nobody taking the attention away from me besides me. I like talking to you guys. I'm pretty good at just talking nonstop because you know what? If no one stops me, I can go for a long time. So please stop me if you don't want to hear this. I guess you stop by pressing pause. Either way, as long as I get your download, that's all I really care about. Here's the thing that I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, getting back to what I love doing. See, I know I'm one of those bartenders that hates small talk at work because 9 times out of 10, the person that wants to talk to me on the other side of the bar brings up something dumb like, wow, it's really cold outside. Yeah, no kidding, buddy. It's December 15th in New York City. Talk about something else besides weather. 9 times out of 10, the person that wants to have a conversation with me and the other side of the bar is just not really that interesting. 9 times out of 10, having to talk to that other person on the other side of the bar makes me want to blow my freaking brains out. But what happens on that rare occasion, that 10th time, when 9 other people are lame and annoying and boring and don't improve your day at all? But then, every now and then, there's a customer, a hero walks in to my bar and orders a drink. And Manny Ramos, he's that type of guy. He's that 10th person. See, I got to go through 9 pieces of shit to get to the 10th person. And Manny's that 10th person because he's the type of person, when he walks into the bar, I'm actually happy to see him. Go figure. Me, happy at work? I'm telling you, I actually like my job, all right? And it's because of people like Manny that make the job enjoyable every now and then. Because not everybody you meet absolutely sucks. Most of them do. Like I'm saying, 9 out of 10. Stick with me. You got it? Manny, he's that 10th. He's that person that's always fun to talk to. That's always easy, low maintenance, chill kind of guy. And I dig it. I dig that about him. There's a lot of that. There's a lot I dig about him. He's a dark, dark man, but there's a reason for it, and we get down to it. He has a way of approaching his craft. What is his craft, you might say? Well, like me, he's an up-and-coming comedian that is finding his foot in the game. That's a very nice way to say that he doesn't really get paid doing this shit, like neither do I. We do it as labors of love. We do shit we love for zero money. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. But you know what else he does that actually makes him some money? He's in the film industry. Pretty cool, right? Cooler than my job. All I do is pour shots. Either way, it gets the bills fucking paid, and that's all good. But his job His job takes him to places like film sets that include the Impractical Jokers, the NBA awards, uh, Jersey Shore. We talk about how this man has actually been to the Grammy Awards. He's even been on stage at Madison Square Garden to participate in Kill Tony. And we talk about all that and way more. This is going to be a 2-part episode. Please enjoy this first part of me and Manny Ramos as we delve into his childhood, his upbringing, his life in the film industry, and how he got into comedy. This is genuinely one of my favorite people to talk to when I'm at work, and it's a long time coming that we can finally have one of these conversations in front of some mics and in front of some cameras. Undoubtedly, this is the longest that we've ever really been able to speak uninterrupted, and it was a good time. I knew it was going to be a good conversation, but it turned out even better than I could have expected, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it for yourselves. Please don't waste any more time except for this one thing. One more thing. And then I swear, I'm done. Just do me a favor. You know what I'm about to ask you. So just do it. Rate, review, like, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. Look, my birthday's coming up, all right? My birthday's a Christmas Day. I'm not asking for any presents on Christmas Day. Why? Because I know you're not going to buy me anything. I'm not asking for any gifts for my birthday. Why? Because I know you guys don't really care. But here's the thing. I'm not asking you to spend a dime on me. No. Not even a penny. Just give me 30 seconds, 5 stars, a review, a rating. That's all. Please. Show me some love. It actually helps. How? Not sure. Algorithm stuff and cyber whatevers, that's all good, but it helps me. So just do it. Rate, review, like, subscribe, all that stuff. How do you do it? I make it real easy. I just make it 3 words for you. You want to know those 3 words? I'm Will Bryant, Bryant, like Kobe. And now, me and Manny chalk it up with a lot of Bodega Cat. Peace.
Of course.
Here, let's crack this open.
Let's do it.
Nice.
Cheers, sir. Thank you for having me on, man.
Thank you for finally being on.
It's been a while that I've been trying to get here.
Like, you mean today only or in general?
Oh, no. In general. Every time I'm just like, yo, let's do this podcast. And then I'm like, all right, I can't do it today. Or you're just like, I have work. Or I'm just like, yeah, let's do it at the last time it was midnight. Let's crack open that Bodega Cat.
Thank you. I forgot his name. One of the rep for Bodega Cat gave a couple of bottles to the seller for free, like for employees, and I just so happen to be.
That is fucking sick. You know what's funny? Not only am I like a huge fan of Sam and Mark, like I actually legitimately like the Bodega Cat whiskey. So I'm
it's
like,
not
oh
bad
shit,
at all. Yeah. I not only do I enjoy
Gracias.
a good rye, but it's that time of the year that I love it even more. Cheers.
Oh yeah, especially winter, a nice whiskey. Oh man. And I'm just so happy that it is a rye because ryes are my favorite.
Over bourbons?
Over bourbons, yeah.
Do you have a reason why?
I don't know. I think maybe bourbons are a little sweeter.
That's definitely the like...
Yeah.
The MO. Bourbon's more corn-based, which I believe leads to sweeter taste or whatnot.
Yeah. This has like a stronger... I don't know. Like I'm not a sommelier by any means whatsoever, but like it feels like it has like... I don't know. It hits like the back of your throat.
I think
a little better, or
the most common thing people say about rye
and
is
it's
that
smoother too.
It's got more heat to it. Is normally
yeah,
what people say.
Yeah,
it's a heat
it's
thing
a little stronger.
I like. I think ryes make for better old fashions in general, which makes sense now because the cellar uses it for the old
fashions. Yeah,
which is like our best selling cocktail.
Have you made me one? You've made me one.
An old fashioned? Actually, I have no idea.
I
don't think so.
You got to make me one next time I'm there.
You want an old fashioned? No?
Yeah.
As long as you're not asking me to make you an espresso martini or something.
No.
Yeah,
because that's what everybody gets over there.
It's just a really annoying thing to make.
Yeah, because you have to wait for the espresso every time.
You're just an IPA
IPAs
and shot of bodega
and
cat.
shot of bodega cat. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I get. Or like seltzers.
Sometimes
I'm feeling fat.
when you do seltzers, I think like, oh, he's trying to be responsible.
And not I'm not like responsible and like you know, let me not drink as much, but like let me not have the carbs. You
Is
know,
that what it is?
that's what it is. Yeah.
Mm. I've wanted to crack open this bottle of bodega cat for a while.
Dude, thank you for waiting for me, man.
Yeah, I felt like it was a good moment, good opportunity. I actually have. I remember I was doing writing some notes down about having you here. Like a good. Oh, you said it's taken you a while to get here. We were supposed to do this like a couple of weeks ago.
We've been trying to do this for like a year.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. But better late than never. To be
Yeah,
honest with you.
I'm glad that I made it here, and even though it was 2 hours late.
From Jersey.
From New Jersey.
You're born and raised in Jersey, right?
I'm born and raised Jersey. Yep.
What part of Jersey are you from?
I'm from a town called Lincoln Park, which no one's ever heard of, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just I wasn't. So the first 5 years of my life was actually spent in Washington Heights.
Really?
Then, yeah.
Oh, shit.
And then
Okay.
my parents moved us to.
So you're born in New York?
No, so I'm born in New Jersey.
Okay.
So my mom picked a hospital in New Jersey.
Okay.
Because that's where she liked the doctor.
Okay.
And you know, every intention was like for me to be raised in New York City, I guess. But then like once, you know, I remember I got robbed once at 4 years old. It's one of my first memories is me being robbed at a hospital.
Wow.
At a hospital.
At 4 years old.
I remember because I have a scar. I forgot which one it is.
I see
a scar
some.
here,
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot wrong with your face.
There's a lot wrong with my face besides the scarring.
You could
But,
point anywhere and they'd be like,
it's
"Yep,
just-
I
yep,
see it."
Yep. Yeah.
But no, I do see the scar on.
Yeah,
there.
so this one here was from I ran into a bedpost at just full speed. I had no idea that it was there.
Okay, so not a robbery.
Not a robbery. No.
I thought this was connected.
No, it is. It will be connected.
Okay,
So I
okay.
ran into a bedpost, and I remember like I had to go to the hospital because I was just gushing blood.
Wow.
And so I had to get like, you know, however many stitches. And as I was waiting, like in the lobby, I guess my dad was just like filling out the paperwork once everything was done. 'Cause it was just in and out. They're like, all right, just stitch them up. And some kid took it was like a New York Giants beanie, and he just took it and just ran out.
Were you wearing it?
I was wearing it. I was wearing the hat. I was wearing the fucking hat. And this fucking piece of shit. I don't know where he is now. He's probably dead if he's robbing like little kids by now, you know? But if you're alive and you remember this and you're watching this, like, I hope you're dead.
Was he older, like an older kid? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Like
Probably like I mean, at that age, like everyone's like an older person. So I'm assuming maybe the kid was probably like, could have been just like a 10-year-old kid.
Okay.
You know, I don't remember. But I remember that because it was traumatic and I like screamed bloody murder. Like no one's, you know, Washington Heights. And soon after that, my mom was like, I'm not raising my kid here. Because she worked in the school system in Washington Heights. She was a social worker there for forever. So even after we moved to Jersey, like she still worked in New York City. So did my dad. And yeah, and then it just moved to Jersey.
That one beanie theft was all
I
they
don't think
needed.
it was just that, but it was just not. I mean, Washington Heights in like the early '90s was not a good area. You know, New York City in general was not.
Jersey gets such a
Yeah.
bad rap because like when you tell me like you moved to Jersey to improve your life, I'm like, no. Is that possible?
I mean, financially, yeah.
Yeah, well, also like I always think of Jersey being not safe as well. Like
I mean, if you go to like Newark, you know,
yeah, I guess.
Jersey City has some bad areas. You know, like
Besides The Sopranos, I don't know anything about Jersey.
there's Jersey is surprisingly like
Suburban.
diverse
Yeah.
when it comes to like because like we have like a whole stretch of like wonderful beaches. Like everybody thinks
I
of
feel like
Jersey
you're
Shore,
using
they're
that-
just like
You use
fist
that
bump
term loosely.
motherfuckers.
Wonderful.
We have really good beaches in Jersey.
Really?
Yeah, we have a great coastline. It's
If
always
someone
New
from
Yorkers.
California comes to Jersey, They're not gonna be like, "Oh wow, I'm impressed."
No, but it's a different type of water, a different type of ocean.
Polluted.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's polluted the closer you get to New York City. You know, that's where it's the worst.
Jersey is as close to New York City as anything in the world,
Yeah.
which is why I
But
think.
the coastline like is like further south.
Okay.
You know, so if you drive like an hour and a half down from like let's say like Brooklyn, right? It's pretty clean water.
Have
It's
you
like,
been to like a Hampton Beach or something like
yeah.
that? So
Yeah.
is it what's better, Hampton Beach or Jersey Beach?
I hate the Hamptons
Well,
with
yeah,
a
that
passion.
that sounds like a different argument. Though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with that, but the beach specifically.
It's the same kind of,
Okay.
you know, it's the same type of like, you know, you go to like Coney Island, you go to like my favorite beach, I'm not gonna lie, is Rockaway Beach
Really?
in Queens. I love Rockaway Beach. I love Jacob Reese.
Okay.
And I only know about it because like a lot of my best friends live in Astoria.
Mhm.
So they're always going there, and they introduced me to like those beaches, and I just really love the vibe. And but it's the same kind of water. It's all just Atlantic Ocean, you know.
I'm not really a beach guy, but I think if I lived in the West Coast, that I might be. 'Cause
Yeah.
Those beach when I go to those beaches, I'm like, oh, this I get.
Yeah, like Malibu is like a gorgeous beach.
I've
you
done.
know?
I don't know if I've done Malibu. I've done San Diego and I've done LA beaches.
Never been to San Diego. I've done what's the Santa Monica.
Okay.
Like I've been to the Santa Monica Pier.
Someone
And
once
that's
described
nice. That's
San
kind of like a
Diego-
Jersey-ish kind of vibe.
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica Beach, like the pier and like the boardwalk, because like all that boardwalk kind of life, that's very New Jersey. Like you know, you ever see like you know like the boardwalk, like the
Well, I know.
HBO show?
Literally,
Feel like
all
Atlantic City, but
I
Atlantic
did
City
see
is
Boardwalk
fucking
Empire,
is
yeah.
dangerous. Atlantic City is like a hellhole.
It looks so sketchy right outside.
fucking sketchy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right outside like the 3 or 4 block radius of the boardwalk. It's like really
Every New Jersey beach town has like, I think there's like a train track that runs down the entire corridor, right? And like before the train tracks, it's like the hood, but then like afterward, like it's like a nice little gentrified like beach area
It's like
for
the 8
everybody
mile
else.
of Atlantic City.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
That's why my idea of Jersey is so bad because I only know like Atlantic City, Newark, and like driving to the Prudential Center.
Yeah, that's
And those are like terrible.
You drive through the most dangerous areas
It's like a war
of
it's like a
New
war
Jersey. It's
zone.
like Jersey's the worst.
It is. That's
And
all
I get
I've
it because
seen.
people fly into Newark when they,
Yeah.
you know, go into Jersey, right? So
Yeah.
they're just like, this is the shittiest, most polluted part, right? And then they're just stuck in traffic and furious on their way into Manhattan. And then
And MetLife Stadium isn't like much.
and MetLife, I mean, MetLife is actually like in Secaucus, but like it's, you know, that's not a bad area. You know, it's just like very congested. But like, yeah, that area starts to get like more suburban-y. But like the more, you know, west you get, the more like it's just like very nice suburban towns. You know, kind of like
Your
like,
town is suburban. You said,
my
right?
town is very suburban. My town is
Does
very
anyone ever try to claim the band Lincoln Park?
yeah. Every time I say I'm from Lincoln Park, they're like the band.
Like the band, right? But they're from
Yeah.
Chicago, isn't it? That isn't there a Lincoln Park in Chicago?
There's a Lincoln Park in Chicago, but there's also a Lincoln Park in California,
Oh,
and that's where the band got their name.
oh, they're California.
They're
You know, my
California.
whole life I
They're
thought they were
Cali bands.
Chicago band.
Cali bands, yeah.
Oh.
The famous Lincoln Park is like the suburb of Chicago.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I guess I got that part right, but that's why I assumed they were from there.
Yeah, most people, yeah, but every time I say Lincoln Park, they're like, oh, like the band is that where they're from in Jersey? I was like, no, there's like 100 Lincoln Parks all over the country. There's a Lincoln Park in Jersey City. That's just like that's like a little small area, and sometimes people think I'm from there because they only know
Jersey City is its own thing.
Yeah, but it has like different areas, right? It has like, you know, Journal Square and like whatever the fuck. I don't care. In Jersey City, I like the vibe. I don't hate Jersey City, but I hate like driving into Jersey City. It's worse than Manhattan.
You hate you don't hate driving into Manhattan.
I don't hate driving into Manhattan. I think Manhattan is easier to drive around when it's like not fully rush hour than it is like Jersey City or Hoboken. It's easier for me to find parking in New York City than it is in like the cities in New Jersey.
I wonder if there's someone that drives every day in the city just yelling at you right now, like, no, it's not.
I don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I know you as this dude that works in like the film industry. But before that, did you have a regular job before?
Oh yeah, I had so many jobs, and all of them I got fully fired from.
You were.
Every single job I either.
Let's go through some of them.
Oh, dude, there's so many. This is actually a fun question. So my first job ever was ShopRite.
Like
I was a cart pusher and a cashier when I was
what
16.
cart pusher is that? Like you collect them from
I
the
just collect
parking
them from
lot?
the parking lot. Yeah, yeah.
There's that. I love that. That's
That's the
a
thing.
position name. Like
That's yeah, cart pusher. That was
cart
my first ever
pusher
job,
and cashier.
and that was a cashier. I got promoted to cashier.
So you only pushed
I
carts.
only pushed carts for like a month, and then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's becoming winter, and it's cold, and it's
Yeah.
miserable. And they, put me inside as a cashier, which was
I always wondered when you work at a
easier.
grocery store, like, do you get like a discount on groceries or something? Or
I don't remember.
yeah,
I didn't. I was like 16, and when I was 16, that's when I started kind of becoming like a troublemaker,
okay.
and
How so?
that I started smoking cigarettes. I was smoking weed. I was hanging out with like a really bad crowd.
Do you think you were like a bad kid?
I was yeah, from 16, and so from ages 16 to like 21, 22, I was like definitely a delinquent.
Okay.
I don't want to think I was like a bad kid. I just hung around a bad crowd because it was fun.
Like what? Like just is it because they smoked weed?
They smoked
Cut
weed,
school.
they drank, they cut school. Like I cut school.
Were you cutting school?
I was cutting school. I mean, I dropped out of high school.
Mm.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was.
I think I did know that.
Yeah, I got arrested a ton when I was younger.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Tell me.
I was in rehab. I went to juvie for like a
what
couple weeks.
What were you? All right. There's a lot for me
Yeah.
to pick from here.
Yeah.
What first arrest? What was that for?
First arrest was I was 14 years old. It was my first arrest.
And you're here trying to tell me Jersey was the way to go.
No.
You should have stayed in
Yeah.
Washington.
Dude,
Heights.
imagine I did stay in Washington Heights. I would be MS-13 or Latin King for sure, dude. With my temperament,
You could have ran the city.
I could have ran the city, dude. I would have been a rapper. I would have been, yeah. Who knows?
All right, so
Diddy parties.
14 years old, arrested.
14 years old was my first arrest. God, why the fuck did I get arrested at 14? I'm trying to think. I think it was.
How many times have you been arrested?
I don't know.
Wow. All right. So
A lot.
tell me a time you remember.
I want to get.
Because you're speaking to someone that's never been arrested.
14. That's crazy. Because like I think when people look at you and me, they're like, "You got the criminal."
Especially if you tell them I'm like Puerto Rican and Colombian.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'm like a suburban kid, that like looks white from.
They're like, he's born and raised in Queens.
Yeah, was raised in the Jersey
Yeah.
suburbs. Like, I got the biggest rap sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was terroristic threats and weapons possession But wait, let me explain. Dude. What had happened was
What? I thought it was gonna be public urination.
No.
terrorist
It all
threats.
got sealed. You know what I mean? But like, and I didn't get convicted of any of this shit. They just gave me probation for
terrorist
disorderly.
threats.
So this is what happened.
What happened?
Me
was-
and this older kid, right? He was like a troublemaker, and he was 16.
Hold up, like troublemaker or terrorist? Like 'cause
This is how.
Osama bin Laden. You know, he was a big troublemaker.
Dude, after 9/11, they were just hanging out terrorist charges to everyone. So this is what happened. What had happened is I had like one of those like fake BB guns, right? And like we were
like a BB gun or
like it was a BB gun that just looked
it looked like a real gun.
but kind of it had an orange tip. Like it wasn't like anything crazy. But when you really
Move
like
your mic a little bit further.
Oh
from
yeah.
me. Oh, there we go.
So
So you had a gun that looked real, but it was
we
a
had
BB
it,
gun.
yeah, and I had it like in my backpack, right? Because we were just like plinking around like this kid's backyard. But earlier that day, we each had like these Tippmann paintball guns. We were shooting school buses with them.
So you had a BB gun and a paintball
And a paintball gun,
Okay,
right?
two things I never had growing
Yeah.
up. Like I went to Catholic school.
Okay.
All right, I was a good kid.
Yeah, you
You're showing me-
got a good kid beaten into you by like
by the way,
nuns.
I got beaten. I got like not even. By
I got beat too, but like
No, I got jumped a lot. Like I didn't get beat.
you
Like
got jumped by nuns.
they hit me with the rosary.
Yeah. Leave like cross marks on you all the time, like 40 lashes. That's fucked.
Oh man, no, but for some reason I got like jumped a lot when I was younger in Flushing, Queens, which is like not that bad of an area at all.
Right.
My friends were like, when I told my friends in high school, I always thought it was like normal. I'd be like, oh yeah, like I got jumped like 6-7 times, and they'd look at me like, The fuck? And I'm like, why? How many times did you get jumped? They're like, none.
Not once.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I was always dumbfounded by that. And that I didn't know till high school that like the amount of times I had gotten beaten up in my life was abnormal.
I think in New York City, like if I were to have grown up in Washington Heights, I'm sure I would have been jumped all the time. One of my friends, Puerto Rican dude, born and raised in the LES. He tells me stories all the time about when he was a kid.
Yeah.
He would just get jumped, but like you just have to like fight back. It just happened. It was just like a reality of growing up in New York City.
I think it happened more back then. Like I think it happened
definitely more back then,
and I think it happened even more before me.
Mm-hmm.
I like if anything like I
the 70s and shit like that. Oh yeah,
it's only
like Crime City. It was literally called Fear City.
Was it really?
That's why Jonesy named it Fear City because it used to be called Fear City.
Oh,
yeah, because New York City used to be like fucking horrifying. Like the Warriors, like that took place here.
I didn't know Fear City was actually named. I thought it was just like
that's
comedy's a scary thing to do.
No. It has. There's a reason behind it why he named it Fear City. It's all over the walls too. Like if you go to the bathroom, there's like newspaper articles like Fear City.
I was so nervous that the day that I was performing at Fear City that I wasn't able to read anything. Like before I went up, I wasn't even able to laugh at anyone else's joke. I would compute that it was funny and say that was funny, but I just couldn't laugh until after. My set.
Same. Yeah, that's me too. Before going up, I just like. I don't pay attention to anyone because I'm just there like with my notes, just like fucking. Because like I'm always trying to, like, do something new.
Right.
Like if I don't use notes, like all right, that means like I have my set locked down. But like now I'm like in a place where just like I want to build, like a longer set. Like I want to have like a tight 30. Like I want to,
of course,
get a tight hour. You know what I mean?
Well, before we get to your comedy, let's touch base on your terrorism again.
On my terrorism? Yeah, right. Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back to the crime.
Yeah, let's get back to your.
So
your
when I was doing crime.
Crime. But I don't know if you know, I record criminals before they smash my phones. Like
yeah.
So that's my thing. So
I've never done that.
Yeah, because you're not a snitch. You're a criminal.
I'm
you're
not
the
a
one
snitch.
that you would have smashed my phone into.
I would have ran Washington Heights if I grew up there.
Yeah,
I would have been a fucking murderer for sure.
So you had a BB gun and a paint gun.
I had a BB gun. We were shooting the school buses with the paintball guns, right?
Oh.
And here is where the terroristic threat thing happened, right? So I think this was 2000. When was I 14? Like 2002. Okay. I think it was 2002, 2003, something like that. So it was very fresh after 9/11. And also, like, remember 99, Columbine.
Oh, okay.
Right?
That was 99.
So what had happened?
Your memory for tragic events is very spot on.
I've had so many tragic events in my life.
I know.
And we'll get into them.
I'm not.
If you've listened to my stand-up, I'm sure like you'll listen. I make light of a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We will definitely get to your dark.
Oh yeah, dude. I got nothing but time today. We'll talk about real fucked up shit.
Nice.
But
I figured we'd start off easy with terrorism.
No, we'll go right into the terroristic threats and my days of crime.
Yeah. Little Osama over here. So you're shooting school buses.
So we're shooting school buses with paintball guns, and we make a stop, which I didn't even think of as the most benign thing. It was a mutual friend of ours, right? And he thought it would be funny to like let her think that he was gonna shoot up the school the next day because he showed her the BB gun.
Your friend thought it would be funny.
My friend thought it would be funny if he scared one of his own friends, right?
A classmate.
She did not find it funny. We found it hilarious. And
all right, hold up. When he's making this I don't know if it's a threat.
I'm pretty sure he said, "Don't come to school tomorrow."
Holy shit, dude! All right, were you like next to him at this?
I was
point?
next to him.
Oh my
this was his. God. This was his idea. He's like, "Oh, let me see this. I'm gonna fuck with my friend or whatever." Right? And I'm pretty sure, like. Again, we're kids, right? Then again, he's 16. He should know better, right? I'm a 14-year-old. Like, oh, this kid's cool. He's a badass, right? Sure, whatever. And he's like, oh, I got an idea. Let's go to this person's house.
Was this like on like AIM or AOL or did he like actually talk to this?
We
girl?
went to their house.
What?
We just like back in the day, we just walked around the neighborhood.
I guess
you know what I mean. Like it was, we could just do whatever.
So you guys went to her house and said
we went to her house. He said, "Don't come to school tomorrow," and that's it.
Oh my god.
And then we left. And for some reason, we thought it was just really benign and just like funny, right?
Yeah,
just to
yeah,
like
yeah.
fuck with somebody.
Wow.
And we go about our day. We go about our day, which involves just like shooting paintballs at school buses and just like dicking around and playing video games back at his house.
Did you even think about it?
We didn't think twice that it could have been
Did
some
she go
sort
to
of
school?
federal crime. Let me get to it. So that very night, there was a knock at his door, right? And I'm there. We're just hanging out, playing video games, just hanging out. And it's like the cops. And they're like, "Can we talk to your son?" Like to his grandma. He lived with his grandma.
Okay.
Talk to the son. I'm there. I'm like,
Dude,
fuck.
every time I
Yeah.
ever had a friend that lived with their grandma, they were a bad kid.
kids.
Yeah.
They're bad kids, dude. They're bad kids.
If a kid ever told me like, "Oh, I live with my grandma," I was immediately afraid of them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, your parents left you, dude. Like your parents were like, nah. This guy is trouble.
If you grow up with like, not like a regular family, sometimes you're more prone to like, like my parents died when I was a kid too.
Yeah.
So like I feel like I like gravitated towards like other kids who like were fucked up and had like shit. That shit was different. We had like a similar sense of humor. We were always looking for like, people to hang out with that like were kind of like twisted and a little bit,
But you still had your parents at 14, right?
No. Well, I had my dad at 14.
Okay.
My mom died when I was 12.
Okay.
My dad died when I was 17, but they were divorced beforehand.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know that.
I saw my dad like on the weekends and every now and again, but like my uncle is the one who like took care of me and raised me
Right.
after my mom passed.
Okay. Do you remember? Were you like old enough to remember the divorce?
Yeah, the divorce happened when I was like 10.
Was it your fault?
Of course. 100%. I was the worst kid. I was an only child. Obviously, it was my
Your dad
fault.
was like, he's obviously gonna be a terrorist at some point. So I'm
yeah,
out.
100. They knew right away. They were like we don't like which one gets him. My mom lost and she got me in the. They fought to not have
They
me
fought
in the
for
divorce.
anti-custody.
My mom lost because like I literally gave her cancer.
Yeah,
So,
you are the tumor.
I was the real tumor that.
People listening to this are like, what is happening?
What
to
the
this?
fuck?
Meanwhile, like I've known this dude from the cellar for a while, or at least he's one of the regulars at the option
At the
cafe.
bar, yeah.
Yeah. Someday you'll be,
Someday, hopefully,
as a past comedian.
I would love to be sitting at the corner table.
Mm-hmm. But for now, you sit at the bar with me.
For now, I sit at the bar.
You keep me
and just
company
hang
during
out.
my
Yeah,
shows.
100%.
So I'm very used to your dark humor, and because you're so free with making these types of jokes. I've known a lot of your like dark past already.
Yeah.
So I
because I'm not afraid to share it. Like I make light of it. Like you have to.
Is
at a
that?
certain
Do you
point.
think that were you always like that? Like were you always able to just joke about the fact that you lost your parents at an
I mean,
early
not
age?
like the day of. I was just, hey, my mom's dead, guy.
I've got new type 5 on this.
yeah. No, I mean over over the years, I think probably when I was in my probably like 20s. Once I got into my 20s, like 21, 22.
You said your mom at 12,
My mom, yeah,
and then your
mom
pops at
passed-
17.
My pop is 17.
And both from cancer, correct?
Yeah. My mom had pancreatic, which is essentially a death sentence.
Yeah.
But she lasted a whole year.
That's about as
from
long as they give
diagnosis.
you when you
Yeah.
get that. Yeah.
And
I lost an uncle to pancreatic
It's
cancer
fucking
too.
rough.
It's
Dude.
one.
rough.
It's the worst
It's
one.
one of the worst
basically.
ones. Yeah. And it's like you can't fucking like screen for it either. Not yet. I don't think. And then my dad, 4 years later, he had leukemia.
And
So
I lost an uncle to leukemia.
It's fucking. It's
probably
fucking.
the second worst.
And he lasted like maybe like 4 months.
Jeez.
As far as I know, and it was fucking crazy. So that's why I live my life just like fuck it.
Right.
Because my dad wasn't like a drinker or a smoker or anything like that. Like
You had a good relationship even with him after the divorce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just my parents who like hated each other.
You didn't hate them.
I didn't hate
you.
them. Yeah.
Who were you? Were you living with him from 12 to 17, or were you?
No. So I lived in my like the house I grew up in, which is like my mom's. My mom kept the house and divorced, and So like they decided it was better to just keep me where I was growing up because like
Mm-hmm.
I had my friends there. I had like my school. They didn't want me to change schools and like uproot my life because they're getting a
Because you had planned
divorce.
to shoot it up for so long.
So long.
You didn't want to ruin your plans. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And to find another terrorist group.
Dude, to find more friends,
Yeah.
like, with BB guns,
Yeah.
like, it's like,
Yeah. This
yeah.
episode's red flags
This is,
14
this,
times
is,
already.
this is gonna be, this whole thing's gonna be, good luck monetizing this one, dude.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I'm 78 episodes in, not a penny made off of this, so we're all good. Yeah.
This is gonna be the last one.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
It'll be a two-parter though, so I'll milk everything.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
So yeah. So who did raise you from 12 on?
My uncle.
Okay.
My uncle, yeah.
So he moved into the house with you?
He moved into the house in like the most depressing of circumstances. I grew up with my grandparents too. So my grandparents lived.
Oh wow!
lived
So when
downstairs
I
in the
said
house.
that kids that grew up with their grandparents were bad,
Yeah, yeah. There's some truth to that, I guess. Now that I'm thinking about
no,
it.
but grandparents along with parents. That's
Along with
different.
parents, yeah.
That's different.
because both my parents worked during
Okay.
the day a lot, and like my grandparents were like Latin families are very like
You're
close-knit.
Ecuadorian,
I'm
right?
Ecuadorian,
Yeah.
so like Latin families tend to, like that's not like an abnormal thing.
By the way, I had a really proud moment with you where I was like, "Wow, look at us." Where like it took me a year before I was like, "Wait a second, where are you from?" Like I knew you were Hispanic, obviously
Yeah.
because of Manny Ramos.
Did you not ask me for a year?
I didn't like. I learned recently that you were Ecuadorian, like within the past couple of months.
That's
And
wild.
And I remember like when I found out, I was like, well, "How the fuck do I know this much about you?" And
Mm-hmm.
because normally that, and it might be because it's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. I don't like when one of your first questions is what's your background or
Yeah.
that kind of annoys me. If you want to know where I grew up, that's cool. And I usually when people like ask me like, "Oh, where am I from?" Even though I know they mean like, "Why is your skin color that
What
color?"
kind of brown are you?
I
Yeah.
exactly. I always reply with Queens born and raised.
Yeah.
And they're always like, "Cool."
But what kind of spick?
Yeah,
are you,
yeah,
though?
but exactly. Why do you talk like the way you talk though? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
always a little, and then I even get annoyed when like a Colombian person realizes I'm half Colombian and then starts even being nicer to me. I'm like, you should have just been that nice like from the start.
That's a thing.
However, I don't do it with race. I do it with Queens people. Like if I hear you're from Queens, I'm like, oh yeah.
It's a thing,
too.
yeah, because you're just like, all right, like we're the same. It's
Mm-hmm.
like if we're, like if I find someone else from Jersey in another state, it's like, oh, okay, cool, like this person, or
Yeah.
same thing. I do the same thing with other Ecuadorian people, like especially in Ubers. Like
If you have an Ecuadorian driver,
like if I have an Ecuadorian driver, or like a Spanish driver in general.
yeah,
I remember I was in an Uber, and this guy was a Peruvian guy,
yeah.
and he was asking me. He was just like, hey, like where are you from in Spanish? And I was just like, Ecuador. And
Is your
he's like,
Spanish good?
my Spanish is okay.
Conversational.
I can do it, but like a lot of words, like I lose. Like I can't think of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I do a lot of the Spanglish stuff, and I'm just like, como se dice,
Yeah,
But
Como se dice
but it's not. Well,
terrorist?
I learned Spanish first actually. I didn't learn English till I
Me
moved to
too.
New Jersey.
So wow. So actually me too, because my mom spoke Spanish to me at home, and then it wasn't until I went to preschool that I started speaking English.
Yeah, same.
Did you do preschool or did you go right to kindergarten?
I did preschool. They put me
In
in
Jersey.
in a Jersey preschool. That was my first school.
Yeah.
And I think like my mom was trying to like do the right thing because she worked in the school system for so long
As what?
as a social worker.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
she was in Washington Heights. She was a social worker for a long time till she
Was
passed.
she born in Ecuador?
Yeah.
Did your parents meet here or in Ecuador?
Yeah, they were both Ecuadorian, but they met here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I forget how they met, but
Were they like from Washington? Like they lived in Washington Heights,
no, they lived like all over the city.
but
Like,
New York?
Actually, the first place I lived was Astoria.
Oh yeah.
Like when I think like the first year of my life, I was
Okay.
like my uncle's like, yeah, like the first year that you were alive, you lived in Astoria. Like,
Oh,
your
nice.
apartment
And you
in
don't like
Astoria.
he
I
had
don't
to
fucking
tell you
remember
that.
that.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I remember like my uncle used to live in the village. Like he lived like probably like close to McDougal, like back in like the 70s. You know what I mean?
That's so cool.
Yeah. So like he's got plenty of stories. But
Was your uncle your mom or your dad's brother? Okay.
mom, yeah. But
Do you have a lot of uncles and aunts?
I just have the one uncle from my mom's side, but like from my dad's side, I haven't seen my dad's side since I was like a 13 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of him in forever. And then once he passed away, it's like I lost all connection.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
because like my dad's family had like so many kids. There was like 12. I think there was like 9 brothers and like 3.
Your dad was like
sisters.
one of
One
like
of like
12?
a shitload.
Oh yeah.
It was like a huge family. So yeah, I haven't seen them in forever.
Were they ever in the picture like normally?
Not. I mean, when I would visit Ecuador a lot, my parents would
Oh,
take me to Ecuador.
they're back in Ecuador.
Oh, they're all there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't have like the big Spanish family here in
no,
the States?
No. But it was mostly over there.
Got it.
The family I had here was my grandparents, and my parents and my uncle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like his family.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what I had here. And like now I just have like a couple cousins and my uncle.
I was about to say, what's up with your uncle now?
Yeah. Oh, he's chilling.
Yeah.
He's chilling. Yeah, he's
Do you need one yet?
No, not yet.
All right.
Not yet. I'm trying to nurse this hangover as best I can. This is the best cure for a hangover. Just water, seltzer, and some like good rye.
That's what it takes. And a podcast.
And a podcast.
So, believe it or not, we've yet to get to the reason you were arrested, though.
For the terrorism.
Yeah, I have this thing in my podcast where, especially when I was drinking even more, I would get like obliterated during my episodes.
Yeah.
And somehow, for the most part, I would find this drunkenly uncanny way to always come back to what I was talking about at some point.
Yeah.
Like I'll remember, like wait a second.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
We started with this.
That like I've jokingly said that instead of like just calling my podcast I'm Will Bryant, like a narcissistic piece of shit that I am.
Yeah.
I should have called it Sidebar with Will Bryant because I just keep going off on sidebars. But
Just tangents. I do that shit. I think that's just ADHD.
And
I do
since
that
I'm
shit
a
sober,
bartender,
dude.
it
Yeah,
actually, you know.
Yeah.
But that's all I do is sidebar. But
now you have the brand, so it has
the
to
brand,
stay.
yeah,
It has to
my
stay.
brand has gotten me so far in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
I have ran into people though that like, they just say like, oh, like I mean like people in my life, not like fucking fans. I don't have fans, but like someone that I haven't seen in a long time. They'll be like, oh, Will Bryant, right? And for sure they remember my name because like they just constantly see me on social. Like we're friends
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
And they
So
just
you pop up, you put your clips.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've even had people.
But
be
that's
like,
how it
oh shit, it's
starts.
I'm Will Bryant. You
Yeah.
know, like
Unless-
yo, I'm Will Bryant, right? Like I'm like yeah.
Let's get
it's like-
super viral for like whatever reason. Like everyone, like I have a podcast and I've only had 4 episodes. I have a 5th one that I shot in August with a very good friend of mine, and I've yet to cut it
How come?
because I hate editing a lot. I really do. I'm good at it and I can do it. Obviously, I cut the other ones, but like, it's a mixture of like it's a pain in the ass to edit and it's very time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like I had that episode and it's hard to like it took us a year just to like figure this out schedule wise, right?
Yeah, literally. Actually,
So yeah, so I have like a bunch of comedian friends and other friends who are just like, all right, yeah, let's do this, let's do that, and then like scheduling conflicts, and I'm just like, oh man, I don't have enough episodes. Like I feel like if I just pump one out, like I want to have like a series of them, at least like 4 in the can, and Alex, if you're watching this, I swear to God, I'll get the episode out. But yeah, so it's hard to book more. And then I get sidetracked with like having a day job too, because my day job is also extremely
main thing that
demanding.
fucks everything up,
Yeah,
for
it's
sure, yeah.
extremely demanding, and I have to pay my fucking bills.
yeah.
And sometimes my day job, like I do have to edit stuff too for like other clients, and it's just becomes like a whole like I put it on the back burner like my podcast because it's like
This one too.
the
dude?
podcast doesn't make me money. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Um,
For people like us that do a podcast at this level, it has to be the not the stereotype, the cliche labor of love, because you have to keep doing it consistently, but you're not gonna get like any positive recognition for it
a long
or money
unless
for a
something
while.
pops off like and
Yeah.
it becomes viral, like it is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And it's very saturated. Everybody has a fucking
course,
podcast.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So like I try to like, I want to book, comedians. I want to make it strictly comedians as much as I can.
Yeah.
So, but like I think that might be hurting me too, because it's like there's so many interesting people to talk to. And
100%.
and mine has like a gimmick of like, so it's called Manny Tools Around on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
By the way, the 4 episodes that are out are fucking awesome. Like I'll give like for
Thank
sure.
you.
Yeah, I've listened to all 4 of them.
Yeah.
The last one was with Rick Chrome, who I kind of consider like my mentor.
That was a
way.
fucking
That was
a
a fantastic episode, yeah.
fantastic episode.
Mhm.
And like even still, I had to, every night I don't really host comedy shows too often, but when I do, like I had to host a show a few weeks back, and right immediately I think of the lessons that Rick taught me about emceeing, because I mean, dude, you can't be an MC at the Comedy Store for 40 years and like not know what you're talking about.
Real quick, like for people that are listening and might not remember, I've talked about Rick on this podcast a lot.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Because I mean, I've outlined my entire like lead up to ever doing stand up, and then how he's helped me before and after that. Like I've waxed poetic about that man before, and I will always for the rest of my life.
Same. Because he gives a shit.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm planning on going out to DC to catch his show, the Sarah Silverman show.
Oh yeah, he was talking to me about that. He was
Yeah.
talking to me about that on my pod.
So if you might be down for a little
When's
he
what
goes
is
out
it?
there at the end of January for like 4 months.
I would love to.
Yeah.
That would be fucking great.
So me and my wife, I still call her my girlfriend even though we got married. Oh, this is the first episode I'm doing since I got married.
What a dude! I found out that this fucking kid got married.
Yeah,
Just like I didn't see one Facebook, like one Instagram post, nothing.
Nobody did. There's family.
I thought you were.
members
I
of
thought
mine
you
that-
were kidding.
I know. Yeah. There are family members that still have no idea that I'm
Yeah.
that I'm married. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think it was real till I walked in your place and I said congrats to your wife, and I was like,
You were waiting for her to be like, the
joke?
fuck are you talking
Was it
about?
a joke? Yeah.
I did it for the likes. Yeah.
Yeah. I just did it for the lulz.
Anything for content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
I mean-
Someday there will be an episode about that. But.
Yeah, and I'll bring my girl if we're still dating.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be.
we had it- we were still
that would be
dating,
dope.
yeah.
Actually, yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. He. I was talking to him the other day about like he has an opening night and then. Well, there's the first day the show goes on, and then there's an official opening night like 2 weeks later or whatever.
How long is it running?
I think it's going for a couple of months.
Oh, fucking yeah.
Yeah, so we
Let's
have time.
totally
yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, January is my dead period for my day job.
It's dead for
It's
yeah,
dead for everybody.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Yeah, so I'll just have time.
yeah. All right, so
Yeah.
we'll talk about that instead of on the air because this is awesome for
100%.
everyone listening to.
Yeah.
This is great. We have a lot of little seedlings out. A lot of sidebars that don't worry. I'll come back to.
sidebars. Yeah.
We're gonna finish the story though.
Which one?
Terrorist.
Terrorist.
Can you believe we? Yeah,
All right.
to finish
So,
that.
where did we leave off? So,
you
cops knocked at the door
Yeah.
of my friend's house.
Yeah.
Right after we were shooting paintballs and the BB gun, and he was just like, "Hey, it'd be funny if we scared the shit out of this other kid that we're gonna,
I love that you were at this kid's house when the cops came.
Yeah, because we were just hanging out. We didn't think anything. We didn't think anything that we were doing was a crime.
Right.
So, cops, they're just like, hey, we need to talk to this kid. Oh, there's another kid here. Let's talk to them. And we were thinking, like, for sure, it was like, oh, fuck, we shouldn't have shot paintballs at the school bus.
Right.
Because, like, that's what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Because the other thing, we were just like, well, let's just, like, scare our friend. We think it would be hilarious if she thinks we're going to fucking do something horrible. Although, his fucking idea.
You made that very clear.
His fucking idea. As far as, I haven't, like, Facebooked him, like, in a while. But
Okay.
I think
So he's not still in your life.
No, I think he became a Marine, actually.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Actually, in a scary ass way, that tracks.
Yeah. But I mean, it worked out. I think we're both all right.
Yeah.
But
the country's safer.
I gotta. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah. So like the cops searched our book bags, like went in, like this that, they found the BB gun, they found the paintballs, and he was like. They're like, okay, like, so what did you do with this person's house? And I was just like, yeah, that's probably a bad idea, right? So, dude, that night we both get arrested.
Wow.
We go to, they put us in the
So
juvie.
this dude's parents just see their child get handcuffed and like taken out of their home.
Grandma.
Oh, grandma, you're right. Give the yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
You know, it's funny if I remember correctly, she was just like fucking again, like. And in my mind, I was like, I think I made a bad decision, like with my friend choice. And
You're 14. Are you fucking like shitting bricks?
I'm shitting bricks.
Okay.
Dude. I'm fucking. I didn't. I'm not like. I wasn't like the kid I was gonna turn into yet. And even that kid wasn't like bad. But I was like, what the fuck. Like I wasn't like pissed scared, but I was like, this is fucking like dumb.
Yeah,
like this is stupid. Like I didn't do shit wrong. So obviously, like my uncle's my legal guardian. I call him. The cops call him. He's like, what the fuck?
I can't imagine fucking little poor Ecuadorian uncle over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he did what?
He did yeah, what the
fuck?
fuck's going on? Yeah.
¿Qué pasó?
Yo, for real. For
¿Él hizo
real.
qué?
Yeah.
No. Coño.
Oh, man. Coño, hijo de puta. But
stupid Manny.
He wasn't even mad at me though. He wasn't mad at me. He was like, this is ridiculous. He got like a lawyer that he knew. Got me out like the next day. So like, I spent the night.
Wow.
In the juvie center, like a juvenile.
What's
like,
a juvie
detention.
jail like? I don't know.
It's jail for kids.
So you're you're behind bars.
It's a jail. Yeah. It's like like a facility.
Were there other kids? Like, were you in a cell with other kids?
No. I had I had my own. Like each kid had their own.
You saw other kids though.
Yeah, there was like I wasn't like that time I went to juvie. It wasn't like I.
Who did I invite into my home, dude? God damn. Go on.
Shit's gonna be missing before I leave. No, if anything,
I need to record
of all the things. I was never a thief.
Okay,
that was like my
just a terrorist.
Yeah, just killing. Yeah. Taking lives, fine.
You don't kill on stage, but you kill in real life.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Also, free Luigi. Free Luigi, bro. Free Luigi. But yeah, so like that was a whole, it all got dropped. They just like all right, because the judge was like, all right, they didn't mean it like this and that. This is fucking dumb. Yeah. So they dropped my shit. I got probation. Like it got dropped to like something stupid, like disorderly persons or. So
you were still charged with something?
Yeah, it was like mischievous or like something like I think just disorderly conduct.
Okay, so you had like to do something.
Oh no, they charged me with gun possession.
What?
Yeah, that was my charge.
They dropped terroristic. So terrible.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
You were charged, but then that got dropped. But then I got pled down to like something stupid where I just had to like do probation for like I think a year.
So there was no like you weren't picking up garbage on a highway or anything like
no, for that like I think I had like it's just for a year like stay out of trouble, right?
Right, yeah.
And then I had to do community service.
Oh, you did?
So I think I had 30 hours.
It's not that doesn't sound bad.
It wasn't bad. It really wasn't.
Gun possession.
Yeah, right? And
do you remember what it was? Your community service?
Yeah. It was at a library. I did at a library.
What'd you do?
I just like
put books away.
I would put books away.
You went to people.
I don't even think I had to do that. I don't think they wanted me like outside. Like I was just like breaking down boxes and just like doing chores. Oh, okay. And I had to like kind of learn the Dewey Decimal System a little bit. But then once it was over, it was done. I was like, all right, that was stupid. Like I feel like that was unnecessary.
Is that like the best thing you were arrested for?
The best thing?
Yeah, what's the best?
Dude.
I chose my wording purposely. Man. Like, I'm guessing you were, did you have like a drunken arrest? Like that?
Dude, a lot of them was
more
just
normal.
Like, like weed possession because weed was illegal.
God damn, I forget about that shit.
Yeah, weed possession.
And you don't smoke now, but you were...
No, but I used to be a pothead back
then.
Yeah, no, if I smoke now, I'll have a panic attack.
Is that what made you stop? Did you start just getting panic attacks out of nowhere?
Yeah, that's what made me stop smoking weed. I was just like...
You went from being able to enjoy it to just not.
It was like that.
Wow.
One day I just had like a horrible time. And I was like, oh, that was probably laced with something. And I tried again and again and again. And I was like, I just can't enjoy weed anymore. Like something
At that point, how long had you been smoking?
Since I was 16. I think it happened when I was like 21, 20 or 21, something like that. And I was like, just.
And since then, I just every
now and again, like I'll have some, like maybe I'll take a puff. and just if I want to chill for the night and just watch cartoons or like play video games, get some dominoes.
And it'll be okay, like if you're home alone playing video games.
I'll usually be fine, you
Okay.
know. Or like my girlfriend likes to smoke weed,
Okay.
and like she's fine with it. It doesn't bother her, you know. Most of my friends love smoking weed. It's a pretty common thing. But like if I have like one puff too much, I'll have just a bad time.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're in your head a lot.
In my head a lot. I get anxious. My heart starts to race. Like
When that first happened, was there part of you that was like, oh no, like I can't do, like I can't.
kind of, yeah, definitely
I'm a
missed it because I used to love it.
Right,
I used to enjoy the shit out of it.
exactly.
Like, the way you enjoy it, I'm
100%.
sure that's the way I remember loving it.
Yeah.
I would quit school. I'd like be high all the time. It was like I was one of those kids
And
that
I
had like
also,
a stoner.
I
shirts.
straight up use it at. All right, I never did that, but also,
Yeah.
but I had to wear a uniform in school, so because I was a good kid.
Yeah.
But also, I 100% use marijuana to help with like anxiety,
Yeah.
with depression, with shit like that. And if I would have suddenly, if that would have suddenly been a source of negative feelings, I feel like it would have fucked with me mentally a little bit.
Yeah.
Was there any of that when that went
No,
on with
because I
you?
don't think I was using it to like suppress anything. I was using it because it was fun.
Okay.
Like I had a fun time. Like I would giggle, I would laugh, I'd be hungry. Like I'd bond with all my friends. Sex is great. Fuck.
You know,
weed.
there's a lot of drugs that I think sex is better on. For me, weed, like I never thought that was like one of them.
Love. That's the one thing
Yeah.
I miss. Yeah.
Eating
yeah, and every
is
now
great
and again,
on
eating
on
is
weed.
fucking. That's actually one of the reasons I'm just like, dude, I want to eat shitty, but like I want to really enjoy it.
Wow.
And I'll have like a hit or two of weed like in my house, and I'll be like, I just want to
Yeah.
enjoy like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
shit ton of gluttony right now, and that I can still enjoy. Like I'll be like a little bit in my head, but like, dude, eating is just like, it just tastes so much better.
You know what? So something you might not know about me. You might have, because I feel like you've seen the pictures of me when I was a bigger guy, when I was fucking just straight up fat. Right?
Did I?
I feel like you did.
You might have showed me. So now I was like, Jesus Christ.
But like, so I've struggled with eating disorders for throughout most of my adult life.
Okay.
I've got it pretty under control now, but like in my early 20s or whatever, like it was
Yeah.
bad. Like I was straight up bulimic and shit. Like so,
Wow.
one of my favorite things in life to do was to just smoke and eat, but like I had to be alone. Like I had to just pig out alone.
Right.
I couldn't do it
Because
in
you
front
just
of people.
felt like
Too much
you were doing
shame.
something wrong.
Yo,
Shame.
Yeah, shame, straight up. Because I
Wow.
knew what it was going to lead to.
Right.
You know, and if I was eating with someone in public, like I'm like, how am I going to throw this up? You know, like how am I going to get rid of this without someone being
I was gonna say
onto
let's
me?
get dinner later, but let's not.
Well, like I said, I've grown since then. Like it's one of those things that I had to actively work on and get better at. Like
Right.
it was.
Is this still affect you nowadays or no?
So I feel like getting better from an eating disorder is the same thing as getting better from an addiction, where you can be X many days sober, but you've never completely like someone that's an alcoholic will always call themselves an alcoholic, even if they
100%.
haven't drank in like 20 years.
Yeah.
I feel the same way with my eating disorder.
Yeah.
So like I haven't had issues with my eating disorder in years, but I've
You
never,
still consider yourself like?
because I've never felt safe from it.
I think it's a lot of things. It's the same with any addiction. I think if you're like an addict, whatever it may be, whether it be like alcohol, booze, drugs, sex,
Yeah.
eating, anything. And I think that's just like a behavior that's like hardwired into somebody.
I believe that.
So when you're
100%.
an addict, you are an addict. You know.
you think-
And you're just like in like a recovery like all the time if you go sober.
I
or
have
whatever.
always said I have an addictive personality.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it
same.
doesn't. So that's what I was about to ask you.
Yeah, very
Because
much.
I sense it.
Oh,
in
dude,
you.
I'm 100% alcoholic.
Yeah, you think so?
It's not like a physical need, like where like I'll have shakes and like I'll crave it. You know what I mean? But that's just I just enjoy it too much. And I've had times, I've had long stretches where I haven't drank. You know, like you get like 90 days and like on purpose, I'm like I don't want to do it, and like I feel better. Or sometimes I'll have like a health scare and I'll like wean myself off it for like another 90 days or something like that.
Which, by the way, I haven't done 90 days in over a decade. Like that in and of itself is pretty nuts.
Yeah, it gets easier after like a couple weeks, right? If you're sober for a couple weeks, it's like all right. Then it just like it gets boring. That's the thing with me.
Oh,
I drink a lot because like either bored. I'll do it like before like a show if I'm a little bit nervous, just to like take the edge off.
When you
just,
say bored, do you then drink alone or do you go out to drink with people?
I used to drink alone a lot. Now I don't.
Okay.
Now it's like, if I'm at home, like, what the fuck am I doing?
I
You know what
remember. I remember when I was younger, and we had this thing like we would tell each other like, if you ever start drinking alone, then you have a problem. And I
100%.
crossed that
Yeah.
threshold like very early on in
Yeah.
my life, especially when I became a bartender. Like I was drinking alone all the time.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the drinking, like for me, I agree with you. I don't think that I have like this physical reliance on it.
I'm not waking up just like I need a fucking swig of Jack, you know?
I am that way with weed.
Yeah.
I am that way with
Wake
marijuana,
and
but I'm
bake.
not. Yeah, well, like yeah, pretty much. Like I'll smoke within an hour or two of being
That's like
awake.
benign though, it's like
It's never. I've never fucked up in life like because I was too high on weed.
Yeah.
I think I've smoked weed, but I think I was high or technically high because for me, like when I'm high on weed, it's like I can do shit while high on marijuana that other people need to be stone cold sober for. Like,
Oh yeah. I can't do shit on weed. I'm useless.
right. And
I would never
believe that.
dare fucking drive.
I can
while stoned.
bartend
I'll freak. Oh, it's just not
on
gonna
a
get-
Saturday
yeah.
night on a busy ass fucking night and have just finished a joint like seconds before. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't bother.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I finished or like smoked a joint before I interviewed to get multiple jobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't affect me in that way. You know what I mean?
You can't go into I can't like have a few beers before like going to work. Like I never drink at work. I'll never say never because sometimes there's like really cool sets, and like there's just a lot of downtime, or like it's like yeah you can have the whole crew will have like a beer for lunch, and it's like all right.
You mean what you're doing now?
Yeah. So like my day job. Yeah.
We haven't even mentioned it, but like you are what do you consider your job title?
It varies. So when I tell people what I do now, I'm technically like a videographer and like a lighting technician, right? Or a cinematographer.
I've actually I looked up a little bit about you, and
Where am I on the internet?
all over the place. Well, no, you are.
Oh, from the crimes. From,
Yeah, you are a registered sex offender. And I found that
We're
pretty
getting-
quickly.
dude, I said not to talk about it.
Fuck, I forgot. Sorry. No, but like like I said, I did this research a couple of weeks ago when you were supposed to be here, but I know you're on IMDb,
Yeah.
and I think I might have found like some type of profile that you created.
I didn't create that. That was created for
No,
me.
not on IMDb.
Oh yeah.
Some other type of like hiring service that's like.
Oh, Staff Me Up probably.
I think something
probably
like that.
Staff Me Up. Yeah.
So I want to go through
Production
some
Hub or
job
Mandy's.
titles
Yeah.
that I read for you.
Yeah.
And first of all, you let me know if these job titles are accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly like I'm coming at this completely ignorant to what these job titles mean.
Most people have no idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like a lot of these job titles that I see in your history, they're the type of shit that I see going through the credits
In
of
every movie or TV
and
show.
none of us know what the fuck that is.
No one
right?
knows what the fuck it is.
So
Yeah.
can we go through some
Yeah,
of these?
yeah,
All right.
100%, yeah.
So if these are true or not, if you had them, I saw that you were a grip.
Yeah.
What is a grip?
A grip is a person of the lighting department, right?
Okay.
So a grip is a part of the lighting team. So if you look at any movie or TV show, like you'll see a bunch of lights, right? In a movie set, you'll have your grips, you'll have your electrics,
Okay.
you'll have your best boy grip, key grip, best boy electric, then you have your gaffer.
Yes.
So the gaffer is the head of
Which is the second job title I have here. For
Yeah.
Is gaffer.
yeah. So the gaffer is like the main lighting technician, like the boss lighting guy.
Okay.
But mostly for the electrics.
What's an electric?
So electric is someone who just handles the actual physical lights and runs the power to them and like the power distribution for everybody.
I heard
on
gaffers
a
have like a
set.
lot of like wire stuff to be like.
Yeah, so it's a
cognizant
lot of like electrical. Plugging in anything that electricity runs through.
Yeah,
They're in charge of that.
The
on like a
gaffers.
movie set. So we're just talking about like a big movie set, right?
that's the gaffer or the electrics.
The gaffer is the boss of the electrics.
Oh, got it.
Right.
Got it.
But he's also the head of. He also is in charge of the grips, but the key grip is like the gaffer for the grip department. So
Is there one gaffer on a set?
There's only one gaffer on a set.
Got it.
So and there's only one key grip on a set.
Oh,
And again, we're talking about like a big movie, right?
Yeah.
or like a big budget, feature or whatever.
Well,
right?
I mean, you've been
a
on
big set.
You've worked on sets.
I've
where
worked
you
on some big
are-
sets. Yeah, I've worked on sets where I'm the gaffer or the thank you sir, or the DP or whatever.
Off the top of your
But
head,
they're
what would you say is the
smaller
biggest
sets.
set you've worked on?
The biggest set I've worked on is anything that's like a union set.
Okay.
Right. So a union set is so anything that has like a budget over like I think 3 million has to be a union set.
Oh.
So I'm not a union person because it's really hard to get into it for the movie business as a lighting guy.
You need like a certain amount of like hours worked or
There's
something?
hours. It's a lot of nepotism.
Okay.
It's fucking so much of that shit going on, and it takes like 10 years to really get into it. So eventually, I just did my own thing.
But also, you got into it a little bit later in life, right? Like we were talking. Well, we were talking about some of your older jobs. We only got to ShopRite cashier
Yeah.
before you did terrorism on the side.
Terrorism on the side. Yeah.
When did you get into?
I never stopped with terrorism.
God damn it! Don't say that. So, anyways,
Terrorize that.
when did
Pussy.
you-
No, anyway.
I'm sure you do. Yeah, yeah. When did you get into the film industry?
So, I was before the film industry. The job that I had was I was a waiter.
Okay.
I was a server. I worked in restaurants. Worked at Fridays, Ruby Tuesdays, Applebee's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was a server.
Wait, like at all of those places?
All those places.
At the same time?
No. Well, actually, I did work at Fridays and Applebee's at the same time.
So, but you were basically like a franchise.
Yeah,
server.
I would just move to like one of those.
Did you ever see that movie Waiting?
Yeah, I love it.
I do
great.
too.
Yeah.
Is I've never worked at a franchise, but I've been in the industry for like at least the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Whatever. Is that like kind of
A lot of it's accurate with
Yeah.
this, like, because we hate like customers who don't tip.
Of course, yes. So
We
do I.
know who's not going to tip.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? We can already see it. And we remember the people that don't tip.
100%.
Oh,
Yeah.
1,000%.
All right. You know what? I did not know you were in a server.
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did that for I think maybe 2 or 3 years. And while I was doing that, I just kind of, I was 24.
Hold up. Walk me through this a little bit. So you dropped out of high school, you said, right?
Dropped out of high school.
How old?
I was, 18.
So how did you get to that? Was it a decision? Were you forced into it?
So the second time I was in juvie,
I love the way your stories start.
dude, I have plenty of stories. The second time I was in juvie,
Why we're here, brother. All right, so
that was
because I finished high school, I finished. I got
Yeah.
kicked out. I failed out of college, but
okay.
I for me like dropping out of high school, it's like
There's a story behind that. I went to juvie again when I was 17, and because I was on probation and I violated probation.
was it the probation from the story we just told?
No, because that's when I was 14.
Oh,
This is
okay.
when I was 17.
How long? Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me get your crime straight.
So the second time I got in trouble was I was 16, and again it was something so stupid. Me and my different buddy, we were climbing. We were hanging out at the roof of the school, like at like 8, 9.
As
PM.
one does.
We just wanted to climb the roof and just hang out or whatever.
This roof of your school.
The roof of the roof of an elementary school.
Of another school.
Because it was walking distance. So it was like this kid
From
like
what?
From like our houses.
So why not climb it?
So why not climb it?
Got it.
We were bored
At 16?
at 16.
Okay.
And like we had like a couple beers and we were just drinking on top of the school. And then like I guess the janitor was there just doing
Did
like
one of you guys have like a fake ID? How are you guys getting beers? I remember that was a
it
big
was like at
deal
his
back
dad's.
in
It was like at his dad's house.
He
Took
just
it from
had
the fridge.
beers.
He just had
I
beers.
always wished I had like
Yeah.
a dad that like that drank beer. My dad, he smoked cigarettes, so that's why I smoked from like an early age, but he never drank.
Yeah. Yeah, neither did mine. Really. I mean, there was like, but like a very regular amount of beer in the fridge, like every
Okay.
now and again for
Nice.
like family events.
Yeah,
and shit.
I would have stolen that. shit,
But yeah, we were hopping to school. We're on the roof of the school, just hanging out, drinking beers, and then we noticed a janitor was like still in the building. So we thought it'd be funny just like run around and like cause a ruckus on the roof and shit like that. So the janitor was like, "Fuck these fucking kids! I'm calling the cops."
Yeah,
So the cops arrested both of us for trespassing,
sure.
which is like I feel like it's like you're really gonna fucking put a record like on these kids' lives because they were just like dicking around like in the school, like not doing anything. Like, what are we fucking doing? Which I thought was shitty. So we got arrested for trespassing. Again, charged with, dropped like disorderly conduct or whatever, which is just like nothing. But again, more probation. So I had to do another year of probation.
Do you remember what you had to do this time?
That time I worked at a Department of like Public Works, which is essentially like our town's recycling facility. So that was miserable.
You know what's funny? That's exactly what I thought it was, and I think the only reason I know that is from like a board game or something. I think like a Monopoly board game or something like
I
that.
don't know.
Anyways,
Maybe. Yeah, probably Monopoly, I would assume.
Department of Works. Isn't that a thing? I don't know.
I think it's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
So you were working at the Department of Works, and then what'd you do?
Dude, it was fucking like all the shit jobs, the jobs that everyone else wanted to do.
No, I don't mean what you did there. Like, how'd you violate your parole then?
Oh, my probation.
Probation.
Parole is like if you get out of like federal
like,
prison and you're just like, don't fuck up,
Excuse
you're going
me,
back
I
in.
didn't mean to.
That I never,
I'm better
I never
than
did.
that.
I wasn't that.
Yeah.
I never did felonies. You know what I mean? I was just like a stupid kid, and so I violated probation by smoking weed because like weed stays in your system for a month,
long time.
a month. Yeah.
Yep.
So I was just like, fuck. It's just like, I tested dirty every single time, and that's a violation of your probation, which is a crime.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, whatever. Like, what are you gonna do? Like,
Wow.
So at that point, when I was 17, I was also pretty brazen. My dad had just died, so I was like, fucking, I'm gonna do whatever I want. Like, I'm hanging out with the wrong crowd. Fuck it all. So,
And that's the typical story of like I can't tell him what to do. His parents died. Like he's gonna be the rebel
and
youth.
it's of no fault either. Like my uncle like raised me the best he fucking could. You know what I mean? And I just didn't listen.
Yeah.
I was just the worst. And I was like depressed. I was pissed. I was very angry. I was very angry at that age. And
Just
and I
angry
just
at
didn't
the
give a
world,
shit.
right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just didn't give a fuck. I was like, there's no future for me. Like fuck.
So many
fuck
kids
everything.
that age. I was one of those angry at the world kids, but like you had like I didn't really have that big of a reason to be as angry as I was. Like you seem like you did you ever feel like, yeah, my anger is fucking justified, Like,
I think so.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I think like, maybe not like outwardly, maybe like when I was alone, I'd probably be like, I always felt alone. So like I felt like I needed to surround myself with friends and people, and all those people also were similar, had their own traumas they've been through, or like some of them were just like rich spoiled kids that were just bored, and so they would just cause trouble. So it was like a mixture of that. So that's kind of how I got into like getting into trouble and not giving a shit. But I remember when I was a senior in high school, and I had a court date for the violation of probation, and I knew that I was gonna go to jail that day, or juvie. I knew I was gonna like she was gonna like throw the fucking book at me for this thing, and I was in human anatomy, and they called my name to the office because my uncle had to pick me up to take me to court.
So you're in school all day, and in your head you're like, I know later on today.
I'm going to jail.
Juvie.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
anxiety? Or you feel?
no.
Wow.
No.
That's how I know you were like going through some shit at the time, and you were like.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was badass.
Damn.
I thought it was like this is gonna get me even like it's just like credits like no like fucking.
Wow.
I was very brazen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you kind of had to, because if the friends that I hung around with, if you showed like weakness or like anything, like you were a pussy or whatever, you lost kind of like that social status of like, and I wanted to be part of that. I wanted to be part of like the bad group.
Was any part of that like, all right, yeah, I'm doing something wrong, but like, who's gonna yell at me? Like my uncle.
That's what I'm saying. So what are you gonna do? Arrest me? I've been arrested. What are you gonna do? Fucking like shoot me? Yeah.
Was there when you were younger? Were you ever afraid of your parents' discipline?
Yes. Oh, 100%.
And then now that's gone in your life. That fear of their discipline.
Yeah. It's not like my uncle didn't. I mean, my uncle gave me some beans when I was
really
younger, when I was like,
because sometimes I wonder like because like if an uncle takes over like I guess all I know is like from all the fucking movies I've seen. Whenever there's an aunt or an uncle, that like has to take care of the kids of like her dead brother or sister or whatever.
Yeah.
They always go easy and get taken advantage of by the kids.
That might have been it too, because after my mom passed, my uncle didn't really like, he didn't, you know, he
Like-
was just like, yo, his mom just died.
Exactly.
Like
How
everybody
do you
was
discipline
very,
that
very,
kid?
it's tough.
Yeah.
You know? So not only that, like, you know,
But I also don't think you're an idiot. So I'm like, were you maybe taking advantage of that at that age?
Not on purpose. I think I was just angry.
Sure.
Like that whole part, I was just pissed. Like
Do you
all
know
the time.
why?
Probably like latently, just I lost my parents.
The life's not fair anger
It's yeah,
type of
like
shit, right?
exactly. It's
Yeah.
like fuck the world.
Yeah.
The world owes me something. I'm gonna like fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
Also, when I was in high school, like I wasn't one of the cool kids.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't one of the smart kids. I wasn't a jock. I didn't fit in anywhere. I also wasn't like someone who got picked on really, or just I was just like pretty much like a nobody.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't liked or loved or hated.
Yeah.
You know, it was just
Yeah.
like I existed. And then like finding like all these friends who were just like badasses and whatnot, they gave me a status. I was like, oh, now I belong somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I belong, and I'm like, you know, so I found my place.
Which is so important at that.
age.
Yeah.
You want to belong to something.
Yeah.
You know, and like I was like, okay, all these fucked up kids are like, oh, I get these kids, and these kids get me.
The amount of times I've ever gotten into an argument with my parents and had to be like, but they're my friends, you know, and they mean something. And like
Yeah.
you look back at that and like and sometimes it makes me cringe.
Oh yeah,
But
anytime you
but
look
at
back.
that time, like your friends were your identity. You know,
100%.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the thing.
And when I said like, what type of anger did you have? Was it the like life's not fair anger? And I say that because like there's that teenage angst that everyone has.
Exactly.
Right?
Every kid is angry, and there's no like
Yes,
consequence.
However,
there's no like foresight.
there's a part
you
of
know?
me that's kind of mystified by the fact that you're one of the few people I've ever met in my life where like your teenage life's not fair angst is 100% justified with what you've had to go through in your life at such a young age.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Like, that's why it's like,
I feel like some people do too. Maybe they just don't talk about it as freely as I do.
well, so that's why I think like the type of person that you are now, which I think you're an extremely well-adjusted person given what you've gone through, but like that sounded like the most backhanded. Like you kind of suck, but I get why.
You are fine, but now that I know like your past, I'm like, yeah.
The reason
I can understand
the reason
you
I
are-
worded it like that
why
is
you are
because
the way
like
you are.
one of my main takeaways from you is that first of all, your humor is a big part of you because
Yeah.
you're a fucking comedian.
A lot of
now.
comics have fucking.
But that's the thing.
Something
You're
that
a
happened.
comic, and like
Yeah.
what we haven't even touched base upon yet, or based
Yeah.
on what we haven't touched base on this episode yet, is that you even do comedy.
Yeah.
And I know you as someone that has already been a full-on comedian and been in like the thick of it. And something I knew about you immediately is that you are a dark comic.
A lot of my jokes are pretty dark.
And I've always assumed that that was your healthy way of coping with,
I think so.
and that's what I mean by how like well-adjusted you are given like your circumstances. And because I think other people would have just fucking stayed that angry kid. They would have just been
A lot of people did. A lot of people. I mean, there's friends that I grew up with that did, and they've seen prison time. Some of them are in prison now. A lot of them died. You know, heroin overdose. That's what kind of caused me to like change my ways, really. And the girl I was dating at that time was a big help. But I just saw a lot of my friends getting into like heroin and other violent shit, and I was like, I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, let me step away, and I finally got out of that.
It was testing positive for marijuana that put you in juvie, and that's what led to you just dropping out of high school.
Yeah, well, I could have finished high school. Well, I only went to juvie for like a week and a half or 2
Okay.
weeks, something like that, right? And
We were talking about why you dropped out of high school in general, and you brought up the fact that you violated
so I
your
was
probation.
so I violated probation, and they said,
Told you I'm good at
yeah,
connecting these sidebars.
bringing it right back.
It's like I've done this before.
yeah. So you've had a podcast for years.
A year and a half. That's all.
Year and a half. All right. Well, Me too, but I have 4 episodes.
But it's still out there.
Still out there. Still out there. Still out there. Still out there. Still out there. I gotta push it.
Episode 5's coming out, and then I'll record episode 6
Yeah.
at some point.
And then you gotta come on mine.
Yeah, of course, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I'll do episode 6
Yeah.
with you.
Perfect.
There we go.
And wait, which part were we talking about? Oh, right. Why I dropped out of high school.
Yeah.
So I was in senior year, and then I was in juvie for a little bit, but then someone made me an offer. There was a Morris County chaplain who I was friends with.
Say it again. Oh, what?
There was a chaplain, a
That's what
chaplain.
I thought you said, but that came out of so left field.
I was,
like, what?
yeah. So there's just a lot of fucking moving pieces to my childhood. So I used to be involved with the church, right? I was very religious back then.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm an atheist agnostic now.
Where'd you grow up? Because me too.
I grew up Catholic, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, Spanish.
I feel like we've talked. Yeah. So I'm
100%.
Roman, like Roman Catholic upbringing, 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I was, someone. This pastor, he died in '08, but he was a blessing for every troubled kid, within that whole county of New Jersey.
Okay.
He was a therapist, and he was he saw the good in all the troubled kids.
What was his name?
God, why am I forgetting his name? Matthew. God damn it.
He's a priest.
No, he was a pastor.
Pastor. So he wasn't like father or something.
Well, you know what we would call him, Pastor Matt.
Pastor. Wait, you were Catholic and you had a pastor?
Well, I became just I didn't really. I just believe God, right? I was very I believed in God. So I didn't really care about Catholic, Christian. It's this guy was helping me. I was, still religious at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Not crazy devout religious, but I believed in God.
Mm-hmm.
And also, he was nice. I forget his last name, but it was Pastor Matt is what we would call him. But he was he also worked with the government, so he had a badge. He was the chaplain for the county, which is something that exists.
Oh yeah.
So he would always go to the juvies, and so when I was locked up, he came to visit me.
Oh.
And he was
and you knew him from before.
Yeah, because I used to just get in stupid trouble, right?
Yep.
And he had an after school program, so kids wouldn't get into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And there'd be activities and stuff like that. It was actually he did such a good for the community. But anyway, he talked to my probation officer, and he was like, "Hey, what if we put him into rehab?" Right?
Wow.
Because I wasn't just smoking weed. I was doing pills. I was doing OxyContins and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I knew how to not test dirty for those because I knew when my tests were. Because that only lasts in your system for 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, he was like, "All right, let's put him in." It's listen, his dad just fucking died. He hasn't had the best fucking life. Give him a chance to do something. So they put me in an inpatient rehab center for 6 months.
6 months.
So I couldn't finish high school.
Did you think you needed it at that point?
No. I mean, at that point, I was just 17. I was like, whatever. Yeah, if it gets me out of prison or jail or juvie or whatever, right?
Right.
And juvie wasn't even that bad. What sucked was the rehab, because you had to wake up at 5 a.m, clean up, be part of the team that cleans up everything. Everything had to be spotless at all times. But it wasn't all bad looking back. You had your freedom to walk around. There were activities.
Is this juvenile rehab or an adult?
That was just for under 18.
Okay.
So 18 and under.
Did you see people there that you felt they have real drug problems?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I was there for weed and some pills.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of heroin addicts, gang members. So when I got out of that, I was even worse because I just made friends with all these kids.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So it didn't help you at all.
No, you know what I mean?
Wow.
It was worse because when I got out, I was like, oh, I know where to get the best weed.
God damn.
I didn't start doing coke till afterward. You know what I mean? I didn't start getting really into trouble till after that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got let out that September, I went back to high school, to do my senior year over, right? And then I didn't give a shit. So I remember my guidance counselor, she brought me in. She's like,
how long how much of your senior year had you done when you got arrested and put in rehab?
it was February. So
Wow. So like most of your year.
yeah, like half the year.
God
yeah.
damn. Like, you were right there because February, that means it's March, April, May, and you're done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then you get arrested, put in rehab, which only makes you a better drug addict apparently.
Yeah.
And then you're told do this senior year from the beginning again.
Yeah.
Of course you.
And here's
out.
the thing.
With none of your friends.
I
like
chose.
Your...
Well, no, I still have friends there. You know, I was friends with like multiple grades above, grades below.
Okay.
It's like we're all similar age. You know, we all went to the same.
I just couldn't
parties.
imagine going through my senior year with the juniors instead of like my senior buddies. You know,
that was like a whole. I think that might have been part of it, but I didn't care because I was friends with a lot of them anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think I cared about that so much. I think I was still just like I still don't give a fuck. I don't really have a future. I'm not a good student. Like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
And I remember my guidance counselor brought me in because I was skipping school. You know, she's like, "What are you doing? You're late all the time. You're skipping classes. You're doing this. You're getting caught for smoking in the bathroom. You're doing this and that." And I remember she had fought for me to come back to the school. So she was just pissed off and she was just like, "Just leave." Just like, why are you still here?
Wow, what a terrible way to fucking try to help.
Yeah, not the best.
Yeah.
Not the best guy.
And you said okay.
In retrospect. And I was like, all right. And that day, I just left.
Were you 18 at the time?
Out. Yeah.
So you can just
I could just be like, fuck you.
Out,
I'm out.
Right.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done here.
Wow.
And I just left. Just had a bunch of odd jobs and whatever. Until one day, my best friend said, hey, do you want to be a production assistant?
How old were you when that happened?
24.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from 18 to 24, you just had like odd job, shop right, server type shit.
Mm-hmm. It's a car salesman.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I used to work for Ford for like 3 months. Can't sell a car. You have to be a sociopath to be a salesman. You have to like actively. You're trained to actively lie to the customer.
I had one job in my life that was basically completely based on commission.
Yeah,
and it was the worst time of my life.
Can't do it.
Wow.
Can't fucking do it. If I believe in something, I could because I'd actually want to be like, no, you actually do need this, and then I could believe it. But it was like just sell a fucking Ford Focus to some fucking no.
The moment someone said no, I don't think I can afford this, or I don't think it's right, I would be like, you're right. You're probably right.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the worst. Yeah.
I can't fucking do it.
I had to sell life insurance for 6 months.
Can't do it.
Nah.
You have to be like a real fucking piece of shit to work in the insurance
I just
company.
can't. Listen, I don't know about being a piece of shit to work on commission if you have to lie your whole
Not
time.
on commission.
Or whatever.
Just working for an insurance company. You have to be a real piece of shit to work for an insurance company. Like a real scumbag.
That's why Luigi did what he did.
Luigi, free Luigi.
Free Luigi.
Shoot all these motherfuckers, bro.
Oh, man. Yo, dude,
can we say that legally?
Shoot all these. I don't know if you can say that.
I don't think I can say that.
To be honest,
they'll just bleep it.
Who's they? I mean, I won't. Like this is.
I'm not gonna do it.
No, this is just going out.
Somebody should.
Somebody should bleep that. If you're out there, you want to bleep that for me? You go for it. I'm not.
Bye monetization.
Yeah, I think we lost it at terrorist.
We lost it at terrorist regrets. Yeah,
that was. Like
that's when you're gonna get the call. And then if somebody looks into the rest of it, they're just like, no.
Man, did you ever get your GED?
I did.
Yeah, I remember you told me that.
I got my GED. I tried to get into the Marine Corps. That's why I got my GED.
Oh, I was about to ask, like, is there any job in film that required you to get a GED?
No.
So you were fine with that? It was because you wanted to be a Marine?
I was just competent.
What made you want to be a Marine?
I wanted to be a cop. So because I did all this stupid shit when I was a kid, like all the cops tend
to shoot black people?
No, I wouldn't shoot white people. No.
I thought you were so dark that you'd be like, yeah.
No. I'm dark, but I'm not racist. Yeah.
Not against the blacks.
Yeah. Just the rich, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's class war time now,
Got
baby.
it.
Yeah. But
you wanted to be a cop, though. Yeah.
I did. My grandpa was a
retire.
cop. My grandpa was a detective, so I wanted to be a cop. And like I was on the other side of it, just like getting cuffed up. And I was like, the cops were actually like pretty good guys, you know, like they're just doing their jobs.
Yeah.
And they were nice to me because they're just like, you really aren't like you don't belong. Like they would be really nice. Like you don't belong in these cuffs. You're not like a bad kid.
Yeah.
You're just here.
Yeah.
But we have to fucking arrest you. And a lot of the times, you know, they'd let us go with stuff because I was there. You know, they'd be like. You know, but sometimes.
So you wanted to be a cop because you felt the humanity in the cops that were actually like arresting you.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was nice. And I was like, I want to be a good cop. I want to be a good cop. I want to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, the best way to do it, it's either like I'm gonna go down this path where all my friends are just gonna do heroin and like other major crimes, and I could go down that path, or I could just fucking hopefully not die in the Marine Corps
Yeah.
and just do that and become something. So
What age were you when you wanted to be a Marine?
I was 20.
So that's around the time where we still have a pretty solid presence in the Middle East, and
yeah,
like signing up for this.
I wanted to go.
Yeah, wow.
That's why I picked the Marines.
Jeez.
I was like, I want to fucking, I don't want to be a cook. I want to give me a gun. I want to kick down a door. I was still angry.
Yeah,
you know? I was like, walking.
Wow.
Like, give me a gun. Let me kick down a door for my country. For a reason. If I'm gonna die, I don't want to die like with a fucking needle in my arm. I want to die like with boots on, fucking for a reason, with a uniform, doing something that mattered. That was my intention. That's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, let me get my shit together. That was the biggest driving force. Stop hanging out with my bad friends. Stop getting into trouble. Stop drinking. Stop doing drugs. Stop doing all that shit. I would drink a little bit, but it was very like, whenever, I would still go to some parties here and there, but I would never be like a bad kid or go to the bad places. And they're like, you have a criminal record. We can't let you in unless we waiver you, because you also don't have a high school diploma.
What's waiver you?
So if you have a criminal record or like whatever, medical, like you can get wavered in, right? If you still meet the other qualifications, like if you pass your ASVAB, like you're physically fine, like this and that, like you can't. It's like that's the only thing stopping you. It's like no, like fucking put them in. We need guys.
And
or
you
whatever.
couldn't because you didn't have
because so they can only waiver you in for one thing at the time, at least.
And you needed two.
And then two. So they're like, so I was like, well, I can't like not. I can erase my record because it was still kind of recent at the time.
Got it.
So I was like, all right, well, I'll get my GED and I'll go to college. To get like to have that taken care of, because that's so I need a GED in some college to have the equivalent of a high school diploma.
Got it.
So I did that, and that took me like 2 years to do. So after those 2 years,
was the GED tough?
Nah, it's fucking easy as balls.
I was gonna say, like, for you, like, you at least you had to take the GED after doing. You like went through most of high school. Like, I can imagine if someone dropped out at 14, it'd be way tougher to do the GED.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can only drop out at 16.
Oh, okay.
To be emancipated, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fucking cake.
Okay.
I was nervous about it. I was like, oh, I got a great score.
And then you went to college for a little bit.
Then I went to college for a little bit, just to get enough credits that would just the bare minimum, so I can be let into the Marine Corps.
So what happened?
By the time everything went in, it was 2008, and I remember calling my recruiter, and I was like, "When is this? When's my ship date? Like, I passed my test. Like, when do I go in? Look, what's up with the waiver?" There's 6 months had passed since everything was submitted, and I put 2 years into just for this. Like they would include me until their like pre-basic training, like events and shit like that. I get a bunch of swag. Like I would go to the recruiting office all day. The recruiter was one of my best friends at the time. Okay. Just because I was with him so much. And one day I just, they're like, "Hey, we've been waiting to call you. A commanding officer in Virginia denied your waiver. Like, you were approved in New Jersey." But so in 2008, Obama took office, right? And one of his big promises was like, we're downsizing the whole shit. We're getting the fuck out of Iraq.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're getting the fuck out of all this shit. Yeah. So they were downsizing the whole military. So waivers weren't getting in. They're like, okay, he saw cocaine on your thing, and he was, just got denied in the spot. So that's it. That guy telling me no just changed the entire trajectory of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was pissed for a long time.
How long?
I was pissed for like years, because I was like,
how old were you at this point?
At this point, 2000, I was like 21.
Okay.
Or like 22, 20. Yeah, I guess I tried to do it 19. Anyway, but yeah, I was 21 at this point, and
suddenly here, life is giving you a new reason to be fucking angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so I was still angry. I tried to go to Ranger school. I tried to apply for all the other shit.
Like Army
Ranger, and they're like, the Marines won't take it. Like, we're not, like, if they're not taking you, like, we're not taking you.
Okay.
So it was just like, all right, no military for me. That's that. So yeah, I just was a delivery driver. I worked for a pizza place. I was a waiter. I was this and that. And then I finally found TV, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
At 24.
At 24, thanks to my best friend. He went to university for broadcast. And
What
all
was
that
he
stuff.
doing?
He was a production assistant, a PA.
And this is the guy that asked you if you wanted to be a PA.
Yeah,
on a
they needed
show.
an additional one. They were shooting the show in New Jersey. I was making like nothing at Applebee's, and then he was like, "Oh, you can make 150 guaranteed a day." Like, and I was like, "Every day?"
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was like, "I will quit Applebee's now." I make 150 on like the best
a
Saturday
good
night.
day. Yeah, so a good Saturday at Applebee's was $1.50.
Yeah, for me
Okay.
anyway. I mean, the girls made more, obviously, or the bartenders made more too.
What would a bartender at Applebee's make on a Saturday night where you worked?
At Applebee's back then, I don't know, probably like $200-300, probably.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you get this job as
Maybe more. I don't know.
your first job in the industry is a production assistant. Is that
Yeah,
the
that's
job
where
title?
everybody starts.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we talked about you being a grip and a gaffer.
Yeah, that came later.
I've seen in one of those sidebars I came back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Jib operator?
Jib operator, yeah. So I did that for like 2 years.
Okay, what the fuck is a
So
jib
a
operator?
jib is, if you ever see like an award show or like a live show or a concert or anything like that, or even like, Good Morning America or like anything, you'll pay attention. You'll notice there's like a big arm that just like swings around, and there's a camera at the end of
the
it.
camera that just swings
It just
around.
swoops up.
Is that
Yeah,
the jib?
That's called a jib.
Okay.
That's called a Jimmy jib.
Jimmy jib.
Yeah, so that's called a jib. And I was a technician for that, so I would go on set with the operator, which is also usually the owner, and I would
Owner of what?
of the jib and all that stuff. So he would operate it too.
Wait,
Of
like
the
so, like when
actual,
you're on set for
machine,
like
yeah.
a show, a film, or whatever. The jib is like there's a specific owner of it. It's not just like leased from a company or something like
Sometimes, yeah, but sometimes the companies are small and it's just like one guy that
Okay.
owns one or two or however many.
that. And then that's his livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
Is that he owns two jibs that he goes
Yep.
around.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're just like one of the guys that does it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty lucrative and it's pretty cool too to be one of the jib guys on set.
How do you control a jib? Is it like
So there's like a motor at the end of it which like pans and tilts the camera and like
Is it like
and
joysticks or some
focuses it
shit?
and
Like-
zooms it. Yeah, it's like a video game.
that's exactly what
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Like, am I a fucking idiot for thinking like you're just like
Nah, it's a guy with a big monitor. He sees a thing, and like it takes years to get proficient at it. Like
Okay.
you have to be like you have to do it for a long time to be a
a
good
monitor?
operator.
Like you're seeing the shit through a screen.
Yeah, there's a screen that's like attached.
Right,
Yeah,
you're
there's a
seeing
whole-
what the
everybody's got a
camera's
screen.
showing, obviously.
Yeah, 100%.
And you're
You can't just
controlling
guess.
that. You're controlling the jib with
With
video
with
game
fucking
joystick.
video game controllers and like
that
little
sounds
toggles.
so
Yeah,
fun.
it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you did that for 2 years?
No, I was a technician.
Okay.
So I
Oh.
built it. I attached the camera. I made sure everything was working. Made sure any problems. Like I knew how it all worked technically. I knew how to put it together.
Okay.
And how to do all the other shit.
Oh, got it.
So if
Got
anything
it.
needed to be done, it was me. So he didn't have to worry about it
Got
because he's
it.
doing shit. So if someone was going like, oh, check the camera, do this, do that, help me build it. So I did that for a couple of years, which was cool.
AC, which I've learned is assistant camera.
Mm-hmm.
You've done this too.
I've done that too. Yeah.
That sounds pretty simple, but tell me if there's something.
Assistant camera depends on the set. I used to do a lot of reality shows.
Yeah.
So assistant camera on a show like a reality show is just like I'm making sure there's media in the cars, changing lenses, making sure the cameras work
media
right.
in the car. Oh, like memory to record
Yeah. So
shit.
yeah, exactly.
Got
Like,
it, got it.
And
So like you're basically making sure everything that the cameraman needs is going right.
yeah, I'm like the mechanic for the camera.
Ah,
That's like there.
okay.
Think of like a racetrack, right? Like I'm like one of the pit crews.
For
It's
the
like,
camera.
for the camera.
Got it.
Changing lenses, making sure everything's clean. If something's not working,
But you're not
settings, all that
actually
shit.
holding it during the scene.
Not as
the
assistant
person that's
camera,
holding
no.
the camera during the scene, are they not in part of the are they not part of the pit crew? Are they not part of the maintenance of the camera? You're just taking
They're the
care-
drivers.
You're taking care of it for them.
Yeah.
And then they just worry about the
Yeah.
fucking
But then in
shots.
like movies or like narrative stuff, the first AC, the first camera assistant camera person is in charge of focusing the camera.
Ah,
So they're in charge of making sure it's like clear,
right.
because like it's not just an autofocus on like a cinema camera. Like, it's like, geared, and like, so they have their own monitor, and like it's a super important job, and you have to be good at it to be like a first camera assistant on like a movie set or something.
And their only
like that.
duty is focus.
Yeah, I mean they also have the other duties, but then there's like a second AC that will load either like film on like big sets, or like take care of the other shit that's not focusing.
There's like a hierarchy.
There's a hierarchy
of ACs.
Yeah. Depending on how big the set is.
Right, but
yeah,
you've worked on sets where it's like they just have ACs.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's see. I'm going through your job titles.
Yeah.
Camera operator.
That's pretty self-explanatory.
That you just
I'm just opping it
at that point are ACs working like for
me.
you?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
The way that I've listed these job titles, am I going in the like correct? Like, are you working up to these spots? Did you go from grip to gaffer to jib operator to AC to camera operator?
No, so like they're just different departments, right? So like the top of like the lighting world would be the gaffer. Right?
Okay.
So that I've done for a long time.
That was like the first thing you had in the bag.
Yeah.
It seemed
yeah,
like
was
from
lighting
your
department.
resume,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. And then I wanted to switch to camera, so I just became a camera assistant.
How'd you? So, first of all, to get in the industry seems like pretty awesome happenstance. You had a friend that just asked you if you wanted to do it.
And I was like, all right, let me network my way into this.
Because everything you've done since is just fucking networking within the industry to move up little by little.
Yeah, because it's a gig work. It's all freelance.
Yeah.
So the only way to survive is networking.
Yeah.
So I learned that like that's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, be good at your job, but also like if someone has two names to pick from, one of them I just got drinks with the other night. The other one I've never heard of. He could be way better than I can.
Exactly.
But this guy knows who I am.
Yes. I believe in that so much. Like,
yeah,
it's whether or not it's fair. Networking matters so much in people's success
because trust.
Yeah.
That's one of the most innate traits in a human being. Is like, who do I trust? Trust is a giant factor in everything.
I couldn't agree more.
So that's why networking is so important. I tell every young kid, like starting out in like film production, like, hey, like what are the tips? I was like, meet as many people as you can. Give me your Instagram. Give me your info. Because if I'm thinking of something, I'm gonna be like, okay, I know this kid.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that like I feel really bad sometimes when I have to tell someone that isn't the most sociable person in the world that the best thing that would help you in life is to be more sociable. Yeah, be
you
fun.
should smile more, bitch. No.
Be someone that people want to have around.
Yeah, because you also like when you're on sets, like it could be like 12 hours.
Fuck yeah,
it's
dude.
it's a lot of the times.
Yeah.
It's you got a 12-hour day, and like I don't want to spend 12 hours with someone who annoys the shit out of me.
Put it this way, like I've curated music events in the past, like where I have to put together a bunch of DJs for a show. And I could have reached out to a DJ that I thought was technically better at their craft, but I reached out to a DJ that I feel like I get along with better.
I've done that too.
Just fucking straight up,
I've done that. Sometimes at my detriment, I was like, oh man, he sucks. But he's funny. He makes me laugh.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'll have extra work to do, but I like having him around.
There was one of my best performing episodes ever was called My Epic Fail, the story of Vibe Fest 2.
Yeah.
And it was about how I got my big chance to throw a big event.
Yeah, you're also a DJ. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah.
So I had this chance to throw a big event, and it went so wrong. It just went so bad in every way.
Yeah.
But and one of the things that went wrong was like one of the DJs was a little difficult, and I was like, oh my god, this is the fact that you were fun to hang out with maybe shouldn't have affected my desire to hire you for something professional. Like I realize in that.
There's a limit.
Yeah.
Like there's times where I'm just like, I love this kid, but like I can't. Like if a job is, I know I need someone to be there, I will pick the proficient person that I have.
I learned that lesson the hard way because now I like a job is a job, and you showed up. This kid showed up drunk. He left in the middle to drink more and do more drugs. Came back later. I was like,
DJ
right,
life,
like,
I guess.
Yeah. But we're comedians, right? And like, there's something about that. There's something about. I think that there are a lot of people that think that they can do this because it's something you can do while drinking and while doing drugs and while whatever, blah blah. But I'll tell
That's
you right,
debatable. You
and-
can't be like trash. I can't
and
just be
and
trash.
here's what I was
going
gonna say. Working at the Comedy Cellar, I've said it on this show many times. When I first got the job, I thought I was going to meet a lot of comedians with drinking problems that were drinking all the time, but it's the opposite.
It's a job. When you're at that level,
Correct.
when you're you'll have maybe one or two to like, just hang out.
But you know what? You go down the block to a comedy club where they don't have the level of comedians that the Cellar has, and they are drunk. They are high.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you realize what's the difference between what makes...
Not all of them. I mean, some
no.
like, you know what I mean? There's a
For
lot of sober comedians.
100%.
That surprised the shit out of me.
100%.
Yeah.
More than I thought.
One of my best friends is two of my best friend comedians who are like mentors of mine are sober.
I think we're saying the same thing in different ways.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that like there are a lot of comedians. Like, look, I work on McDougal Street. That street alone is full of comedians that are passed at Grizzly Pear, Greenwich Village, stuff like that, and they think that you can drink while doing the job. Meanwhile, the people that I see at the Cellar, they're drinking tea.
Mm-hmm.
They're drinking Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And there's the people that...
Because that's a career.
Correct. And the people that treat... The people at the Grizzly Pear right now, the people at the Greenwich Village Comedy Club, the people at New York Comedy Club that treat it like a craft, like a job, they're the ones that are going to make it later on. And the ones that like, if you are just going out and you have to get like trash to get on stage, like that's not going to work.
If you have to get trash to get on stage, no.
That's not going to work.
Yeah, I've done plenty of sober shows. I mean, I feel like sometimes I'm guilty of using it as a bit of a crutch.
Drinking?
Yeah. When I do shows. Sometimes
A crutch how?
Like it's like a cheat code for like being more sociable.
I was going to ask, do you feel like it makes you more loose?
A little loose. It feels like the audience is I'm just hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like I'm not like shaky, but then like when I go up stone cold sober, I'll notice like I'm obviously sharper. My material, I remember it's a job. Then it's like I know exactly like what I have to do. The delivery is like on point. Depending if I'm trying new shit or not.
So I wanted to ask how it felt for you when you first were getting on stage, when you first started.
Yeah.
But to get to that, I first have to ask you, how did you even get into comedy in the first place? Because we've talked about so much about your life.
Oh yeah.
Your terrorist life,
Terrorist attacks, yeah.
getting in trouble, getting arrested,
criminal.
failing out, or not failing out. Excuse me, I failed out of college. I'm putting my shit on you.
I failed
now.
out of high school. I just dropped out.
You just dropped.
I
out
just
of
dropped
high
out.
school. It was your choice.
I got good grades in college.
So how did you? And we talked about like your regular jobs and how you even got into the film industry.
Yeah.
Where on that path do you start thinking about comedy? Because
Since I was a kid.
it's like really? It's always been there.
It was my dream since I was a kid. Since I first saw George Carlin on HBO, I was like, you can just do this? That's fucking crazy.
Do you remember
never
when
did
you
I
saw
think I
that?
would do it. Probably like 2000, 99, 90. I mean, like, pretty early on.
Because it's weird you say that, because like George Carlin to me is actually one of my earlier introductions to comedy as well. And for me, I didn't understand what a comedy special was. And he's my stepdad, but as I've said on this show for so many episodes, people that listen here, they know my stepdad is my dad. He's my dad.
You're right.
I remember like whenever Carlin, because back then Carlin would only be on TV if it was on HBO. Normally, like,
yeah.
it was like he had a new.
Well,
special
it was either like that's HBO and Comedy Central.
Central. Yeah,
that was it.
That was it. 100%. Yeah, maybe Showtime later on.
Yeah, down the road it became more mainstream.
But early on when I was a kid, when we were kids, like an HBO special was
You're the fucking man.
When
dude.
that shit
You're
went
the best of the best.
HBO.
It's gonna
presents
be
or whatever. Like it was
the
a big
best
deal.
shit you ever saw, and it always was.
And I remember him.
Chris Rock.
Yes. So when people ask me like who like my favorite comics are, it's hard for me to answer that because I'm not sure, but I know that when I was a kid in high school, when Chris Rock had a special, it was an event.
It was an event, yeah.
Because if you didn't see that special, you were missing out on all the funny
The
conversations
next day,
at
that's the
school.
same shit with everything, yeah. And you had
Yeah.
to catch it.
Yep.
You can't just fucking go on YouTube and catch the recap.
Because that
or
shit would come out like maybe on a Saturday or some shit, and like we all had the weekend off, and by Monday, like I remember coming to school, and I did not watch the Chris Rock special that weekend, and I came to school that Monday, and someone said they spinning.
No idea what they were talking
and I was
about.
like, "What is?
Like,
why is
what?
everyone cracking
Yeah.
up?" And then I watched it that night on HBO, like on demand, and I
And
was
you're
one
like,
day
they spin it.
yeah, they spin.
Yeah,
And now I'm like, now I'm cool. Now I'm in on the joke.
Yeah.
You know, like, and Carlin was an HBO special back in the day that my dad was big on. Do you know this? You don't? Well, watch this now.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember that's the way I learned about Abbott and Costello.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I remember. Did you ever see the Popeye movie with Robin Williams?
I think like once. I remember none of it.
I remember being forced to watch it because he was like, "This is good. And you don't know any better."
Yeah,
And
like Clockwork Orange, like
like watch
you're gonna
this
be
now.
just like me.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Carlin, like when Carlin would come out with a special, he I remember him telling me like, "Oh, this guy back in the day, he was crazy, and now he's like smart." And I'm like 12, and I don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck he's talking about at all. And I didn't find Carlin funny. Like I was too young. I was too stupid for it. Whatever.
Right. I mean, they're pretty cerebral jokes.
His jokes were.
But even then, it was like it's so fuck. I still loved him back then
It's
because he
so-
said fuck and like he said some crazy shit too.
I had to go
It all
back
makes sense,
to
yeah.
appreciate him.
Of course. Yeah.
But in my head, my dad told me this was what is good comedy.
Yeah.
So when I went back to like teach myself about it, there was no way I wasn't going to like it. Because I knew in my head, this is what my dad said was good. Let me figure out why. It
Yeah.
wasn't let me just judge for myself. Like I
Right.
was so like Carlin to me in the beginning, it confused me because I was like, that doesn't sound like he sounds like he's ranting. He sounds like he's teaching. He sounded like an angry college
Yeah.
professor.
I just thought they were just like talking.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Had
I
no
didn't-
idea it was rehearsed for years.
I didn't
years.
understand that was comedy.
Yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was rehearsed. So I remember my first open mic was in 2016.
Ooh, I love this because it was gonna be a question, but you just did it for me. Let's go. First open mic.
2016. I tell people that I've been doing comedy for 3 years, even though like the first time I ever did it was in 2016.
Mhm.
I tell people that because there was a period where I was just writing and not performing a long time, from 2016 to 2022.
Jokes.
I was just writing everything I thought. I just kept writing, all ideas, with the intent of being like, I'm gonna come back to this when I figure it out. And it was because when I first
With an intent to be on stage.
yeah, down the road. And I did my first open mic. I was at a bar. I used to live in the Lower East Side for a bit in 2016, and I went to this bar called Old Man
What?
Hustle.
Hold up. You were you were in LES?
Yeah, I lived
You're
in LES
cooler than I thought.
for like 2 years. Yeah,
Oh, nice. All right.
and
Wait, at 16?
no, 2016.
Oh, 2016.
2016.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
2016.
Got it.
Yeah, and there was this
So how old
bar-
were you when you did your first open mic?
however old I was in 2016.
math.
20 fucking 8.
All right.
Nine,
All right.
nine.
Late 20s. And
Late
so
20s.
your first open mic was Old Man Hustle?
Old Man Hustle. So
I've heard about this.
It's a bar. I mean, it's not there anymore. Well, now I
It
think they're in
recently
Brooklyn. I
closed
think they're
up.
in Brooklyn now.
Oh, that's why. So they moved to Brooklyn because I've
they
heard
moved to
about
Brooklyn.
this. Yes.
They moved to Brooklyn.
I think it still
And,
exists then.
Yeah, it does, but not the LES part.
Got it.
So there was a bartender there who was awesome. I don't think he works here anymore. Well, no one works there anymore in the Lower East Side. But I remember there was like 5 people at the bar, just strangers, and they had a stage because it was a comedy club also. and we were passing some weed around, and for some reason, like I took a hit, and I was like, all right, like I have a little bit of weed, have some drink, and it was like the next 2 drinks are on the house if everyone here does 5 minutes, because nobody was a comedian, right?
Oh,
So,
but they were hosting an open mic.
no, it wasn't an open mic. He was just like, fucking. It wasn't a comedy day or anything.
Oh.
It was just a stage.
Was
And-
anyone doing shit on stage?
Yeah, so everybody wanted the free drinks. So like all 5 of us.
No, but
did-
before that,
What do you mean?
like, were people on stage before he said that?
No, it
So
was
he
just off.
just said, if the next blank
Yeah.
amount of people go
It was
on
a very
stage-
small bar, and there was just a corner that was like a little stage.
Okay.
And so he turned it on. He turned on the lights and the mic, and he was like, "Next 2 drinks are on." I mean, don't order top shelf stuff, but like next 2 drinks, like 2 free drinks for anybody that hops on there in just 5 minutes, right?
Okay.
And no one's everyone's just like a regular person.
Yeah.
Public speaking is a huge fear for most people,
Mhm.
right? And in the back of my head, I was like, huh, this was always my dream. Like, I wonder how it would be at it. I just went up there for 5 minutes and just riffed,
Mhm.
about like things that I've noticed,
Do you remember any of it?
Not really. I remember one thing was like I was talking about why cabbies, like who the fuck are they talking to?
On the
Bluetooth,
phone?
On the Bluetooth, like who the fuck are they talking
Yo,
to?
I've
They're talking
always
the whole time.
thought about that,
Yeah,
dude.
like who are you talking to?
It's so funny because I wrote that down as like an idea for a bit too.
Yeah.
They're
But
always
it
on
didn't
the
go
phone.
anywhere. I was just like, who the fuck are they talking to?
No matter
and
what
everyone
time.
loved that, yeah.
No matter what time.
No matter what time.
Yeah.
For like, it doesn't matter how long, dude. From Manhattan to JFK.
Yes.
2 hours of traffic. Same person. I don't know what it is.
It's like it's like if I was an Uber driver and I called you and I was like, all right, start driving this guy. Let's talk for 40
Yeah.
minutes. Like, yeah.
I don't know who I would. I can't.
How do they know so many people to talk to on the
And
phone?
there's no dead space either.
In
They
my-
just keep talking.
in my head, they're calling like their wife back home because their wife said like keep me on the phone throughout
Do you
all
know who
of
they're
your phone
talking
calls.
to? I actually asked one.
Get the fuck out. Tell me.
Dude, they're all talking to other cabbies. They're talking to each other.
Really?
That's the answer I got from a couple of people.
Why?
I don't fucking know. They're just like, oh, there's traffic here, there's traffic
Dude,
there.
I don't want to talk to
And-
anyone that I'm a podcast host. I don't want
Yeah.
to talk to people that long.
How long has this been going on?
Yeah, right, just cut it off.